Chapter 503. Zhu Daoshan told Wu Zhiga not to speak. He was really afraid that Wu Zhiga wouldn't speak and that the situation would collapse. Young Master Lin, you know that the two of us have bumped into you many times, but we weren't able to capture you each time. Am I right? Zhu Daoshan didn't say everything right away and just slowly guided him. Lin Fan nodded. Yeah, that is indeed the case. But I can't blame you. Who am I? How could it be caught so easily? Even if the two of you are the strongest 9-star generals, it is still impossible. Wu Zhiga couldn't help but want to retort, but Zhu Daoshan stopped him. Zhu Daoshan cursed in his heart. How shameless. If it weren't for the help of others, do you really think that you could escape? Stop dreaming. But truthfully, he really couldn't say anything. The situation wasn't clear now. Naturally, he wouldn't gain anything from this. Who knew what he would face when he returned to the Alliance headquarters? Even if Zhu Daoshan was disgusted by his bragging, he couldn't say anything. He could only grit his teeth and bear with his actions. Of course, young Master Lin's cultivation is really shocking. So I hope that young Master Lin can help out and follow us to the Alliance headquarters. Of course, we don't want young Master Lin to walk into a trap, but we want the Alliance headquarters to misunderstand that young Master Lin has been captured by us. Once people from the headquarters arrive, we will find a chance to leave. At that time, with young Master Lin's cultivation, it won't be difficult for you to leave. As long as young Master Lin helps us, we will remember it. Zhu Daoshan's skin was really thick, and he could even say such a shameless request. That was enough to show that they were really forced to their limits. After Lin Fan heard this, he kept silent. He didn't even want to say a single word. If this was in the past, he would have definitely hollered in rage. Was there something wrong with his brain? To think that you could even say such shameless words. Just what other shameless words do you have that you haven't said yet? Just say them all, and let this sect leader have a good taste of them. Zhu Daoshan saw that Lin Fan didn't say anything and became a little anxious. Young Master Lin, we can discuss any conditions. I know that this request is a little too much, but if the benefits are enough, some risks are worth taking. Zhu Daoshan said. Wu Zhiga, who was standing at the side, did not say anything. Even if he had a bad temper, he was still a person who cared about his reputation. He couldn't bear to listen to Zhu Daoshan's words. If someone else said that to him, he was afraid that he wouldn't even be able to tolerate it. He would directly curse. Are you sick in the head? Even if you're sick, I am not. It seems like you're under a lot of pressure. Lin Fan looked at Zhu Daoshan. His white hair told of how tough it was. As a man of a new era who respected the old and loved the young, he would naturally help if he could. Forget it. Your sect leader understands what you're saying. But I have to say that the difficulty is really high, and it's also really dangerous. If I'm not careful, I might die because of you guys. Lin Fan said. Zhu Daoshan said, Young Master Lin, I understand what you are saying. Just tell me what you want. As long as you agree, I won't object. Good, you are straightforward. A while ago, heaven-covering demon sect came to Marshall Path Mountain to cause trouble and caused many problems for us. My condition is that the two of you help me ask for an explanation from them and destroy half of their mountain. Lin Fan said. This. Zhu Daoshan was stunned, and then he thought about it. He was considering the benefits involved. As the strongest 9-star generals of the Alliance, they couldn't act so casually. After all, they represented the Alliance headquarters. If they were noticed, they would have caused a huge problem for the Alliance headquarters. Lin Fan said calmly, I'm taking a huge risk to help you. If you don't want to take the risk, then there is no need to discuss this. Zhu Daoshan saw that Lin Fan wanted to run and obviously wouldn't agree. He said right away, Young Master Lin, wait. This matter is really important and we have to consider it carefully. Why don't you follow us back to the Alliance headquarters, and in the future, we will help you. Ha! Lin Fan laughed. Do you really think I'm stupid? If I follow you back to the Alliance headquarters, what if you turn on me in the end? Young Master Lin, as the strongest 9-star generals of the Alliance, we have our trust. Zhu Daoshan said. Lin Fan waved his hands and didn't give him a chance at all. Don't talk to me about trust. I will say the same thing. Help me first, and then I will help you. Otherwise, there's no need to talk. Zhu Daoshan didn't reply to Lin Fan's words. He looked at Wu Zhiga, and the two of them exchanged glances. The rough meaning was whether or not they believed him. They were the ones who needed Lin Fan's help, and not the other way around. How would Wu Zhiga know what the outcome would be? But when he thought about the evil gazes of the people at the headquarters, he was furious. At their level of status, what mattered the most was their face. Now that Lin Fan didn't give them face at all, was that something that they could accept? No one would be able to accept it. Wu Zhiga nodded his head like he agreed to Lin Fan's request. Zhu Daoxin knew that Wu Zhiga was unwilling, which was why he agreed. Just like himself, he was unwilling too. But the conditions of the trade were too risky, and if he was not careful, he would fall into the abyss. As for whether or not Lin Fan would go back on his words, he felt that as long as Lin Fan was smart, he wouldn't be so foolish. Not only would he offend heaven-covering demon sect, but he would also offend two of the strongest 9-star generals. He treated Lin Fan as a smart person like them. He was able to analyze the pros and cons. Okay, we can agree to your request, but I hope that when the time comes, young Master Lin will keep to his promise. Zhu Daoxin said. Lin Fan smiled and felt much better. At the same time, he thought back to heaven-covering demon sect and only had one sentence for them. All of you are dead. Just as they were discussing all this, the situation at the Alliance headquarters was really bad. Zhu Daoxin and Wu Zhiga were pushed to the teeth of the storm once more. News spread back from Laozhan City. The one who did it was Lin Wani's son, Lin Fan. General Gao Bang died to him mainly because Zhu Daoxin and Wu Zhiga didn't attack right away. Thus, Lin Fan found a chance to kill General Gao Bang. These words sounded like they were adding fuel to the fire. They were just spouting nonsense to trick people. But one had to say that these words were really useful. Apart from the commander, the others were discussing softly. The commander was annoyed and frowned. What was going on? Since Zhu Daoxin and Wu Zhiga met Lin Fan, everything went wrong. In the past, as the strongest 9-star generals, there was nothing that could stop them. Why did this happen when they met this fellow? Looking at the noisy crowd below, the commander didn't say anything. He just kept silent and looked on. Heaven-covering demon sect. Lin Fan brought the two of them to stand in the air. He turned his head and was slightly shocked. The two of them took out masks and put them on. Are you afraid? Lin Fan smiled and asked. They really were so careful. Zhu Daoxin said, we can't show our faces, otherwise the outcome will be catastrophic. They were the strongest 9-star generals in the Alliance, and if heaven-covering demon sect found out that the Alliance 9-star generals had joined in, the situation would be problematic. What is young Master Lin planning to do next? Zhu Daoxin asked. Now that Lin Fan was standing beside them, they wanted to take him down right now. Such a thought burned like a flame, but it was extinguished very quickly. Even if Lin Fan was standing beside them, they weren't confident. Plan. Lin Fan smiled. He retracted his smile, and his expression turned solemn. He slapped towards heaven-covering demon sect. I have no plans. I will just attack. Zhu Daoxin was shocked. He was decisive. He didn't give them any chance to react at all. The palm was really strong, and it covered the entire sky. If no one from heaven-covering demon sect blocked it, this palm would have been enough to cause heavy losses to heaven-covering demon sect. Who dares to behave so arrogantly in heaven-covering demon sect? At that moment, a furious voice spread out from the distance. Shortly after, there was a loud explosion. A shocking aura spread out from within the sect, colliding with the gigantic palm and shattering it. Numerous people rose into the air from the depths of the sect. The first one was heaven-covering old demon. His face was cold, and there was no emotion on it at all. He was furious. Who was so bold to dare to behave so arrogantly in his territory? Did that person really want to die? But when he looked into the distance, heaven-covering old demon's expression changed. He wasn't that emotionless person anymore. It is you. He recognized the person, but he didn't expect that he would actually come. Lin Fan smiled. It is me. It has been a few days since we parted at Marshall Path Mountain, and I miss you. So, I brought 2 friends over to have a walk and also to change the feng shui of heaven-covering demon sect. Heaven-covering old demon obviously didn't know what he meant. He then looked towards the two masked people. He couldn't see their faces and didn't know who they were. But from the aura they gave off, they were really strong and they definitely weren't weak. Heaven-covering demon sect's Elder Black Prison, Tao Realm, Stage 6. He led the Elder group to defend above. The handsome young master was healing up in the sect, and when he saw Lin Fan from afar, it was like 10,000 horses were galloping in his heart. Why did he come again? Did he really think that his sect was easy to bully? Kill him. Kill him quickly. He didn't dare to make a ruckus, but he could shout in his heart to cheer for the sect. Zhu Daoxin heaved a sigh of relief. Based on the current situation, the chances of them fighting were low. They should have been talking to one another. With their help, it wouldn't be a problem for heaven-covering demon sect to lower their heads. Otherwise, the sect would be wiped out. But what they did next nearly caused Zhu Daoxin to exclaim. Lin Fan didn't say a word and just charged towards heaven-covering demon sect. At the same time, he shouted, "What are you all standing there for? Attack and wipe them out." Zhu Daoxin was shocked and then exchanged glances with Wu Zhiga. In the end, they nodded. They could only do it. Chapter 504. I'll leave him to the two of you. Don't disappoint me. Lin Fan looked at the two of them with a deep gaze and then passed heaven-covering old demon to them. Without Zhu Daoxin and the others' help, he would be on the same level as heaven-covering old demon. But things were different now. With two of the strongest 9-star generals holding him back, as long as they didn't go easy on him, it would be enough for old demon to suffer. All right, Zhu Daoxin and Wu Zhiga didn't say any nonsense. Since they had come to an agreement, then naturally they wouldn't lie. With their cultivation, suppressing heaven-covering old demon wasn't a problem at all. Heaven-covering old demon was furious and wanted to force the two of them back. But after clashing with them, he realized that these two masked people weren't weak. And Lin Fan was unstoppable. Stop right there. Elder Black Prison scolded angrily. With a wave of his hand, all the elders charged towards Lin Fan. Capture him. Don't let him get close to the sect. Yes, the elders were furious. As elders of heaven-covering demon sect, they had never faced such a situation where others caused trouble in the sect. To them, what was happening right now was something unbearable. You're overestimating yourself. Lin Fan was filled with disdain. He slapped down with his palm, forming a ferocious storm that crushed over. The cultivation states of these elders were not weak at all. However, they were up against Lin Fan. Therefore, their cultivation states were naturally not enough. How is that possible? Many of the elders were shocked. They felt like a raging storm was pressing down on them. Their bodies swayed, unable to stabilize themselves. Rumble. Some of the elders couldn't handle Lin Fan's strength. Their bodies were like cannonballs as they slammed into the ground. When Elder Black Prison saw this scene, his eyes almost popped out of their sockets as he barely managed to resist. He didn't expect his opponent's strength to be so terrifying. It wasn't something they could resist at all. The sect master was entangled by the two experts and couldn't be distracted for a moment. He couldn't take care of them at all. Lin Fan looked around. The heaven-covering demon sect disciples were furious, but they didn't have any rage points. It seemed that after the previous harvest, it was not time for him to harvest again. He would probably need to rest for a while more. You guys are too weak. Lin Fan stood with his hands behind his back and said calmly. He then punched out in all directions. There was a loud rumble. The environment around heaven-covering demon sect was destroyed. The shockwave formed by that punch destroyed everything, piercing through the abyss. Countless cracks appeared, and the magma in the Earth's core spread out like a flood, engulfing all the vitality in the surroundings. You destroyed my Marshall Path Mountains feng shui, so don't think about having a good time here. Lin Fan was a little vengeful. He punched several times, causing the sky to collapse and the ground to shake. The environment around heaven-covering demon sect was like hell, with magma rumbling. Once it cooled down, the ground would turn black and it would look even more lively. Bastard! When heaven-covering old demon saw this, he was furious and nearly went crazy. He didn't expect Lin Fan to dare to do that. Zhu Daoxin's evaluation of Lin Fan was closer to that of a lunatic. At the same time, he felt a little regretful. He would help them deal with heaven-covering demon sect and then follow them to the Alliance headquarters. But for some reason, Zhu Daoshen felt like they wouldn't keep to the promise and would flee right after they did all that. But it was too late now. Things had already come to this point, so what else was there to say? Next is your sect. It is time to leave a deep impression on all of you. Naturally, Lin Fan didn't want to destroy heaven-covering demon sect, but to leave something for them. At the same time, he was prepared to sell out the Alliance. Slash! An eye-piercing sword light swept towards the buildings with a terrifying aura. How long? Where the sword light passed, the buildings were sliced in half like they were made of tofu. Numerous buildings collapsed and turned to ruins. Some disciples were pressed beneath and shouted loudly. Some of the disciples were running around, trying to find a place to stay. Every sect had their own geniuses, who were the candidates for the next generation's sect master. Maybe one couldn't tell now, but one day in the future, they would show great talent and shock everyone. Heaven-covering demon sect also had such a person. Of course, he wasn't the young master. That person relied on his looks to survive and was half trash. In a corner, a young man looked at the top expert who was stepping on the sect in shock. They were all young, so why was he so outstanding? He was once confident, but the moment he saw Lin Fan, he felt a sense of defeat and inferiority. This was just a small matter in heaven-covering demon sect. To Lin Fan, he couldn't even notice such a small existence. Black Prison wanted to stop Lin Fan, but there was nothing he could do. He felt that his cultivation was enough, but after clashing with him, he realized how weak he was. Stop! He really couldn't stop him. Lin Fan, stop right there. Heaven-covering old demon hollered in rage. He witnessed everything, but there was nothing he could do. He was blocked by two people and had no chance to break free. Who were these people? Where did Lin Fan find them from? He was sure that they weren't from Marshall Path Mountain. Which side were they from? Don't be anxious. Well, I feel like it is about time. It will end. Don't worry. Heaven-covering demon sect won't be wiped out. Lin Fan said, but to heaven-covering old demon, those words were nonsense. How would he believe what Lin Fan said? But all of that wasn't important. No matter whether or not he believed it, he was prepared to do that. Suddenly, Lin Fan's heart shook and he felt a sense of danger. With the current situation, how could he still feel such a sense of danger? Although he didn't believe it, he did feel it. He looked into the distance, and that was where the sense of danger came from. In the distance, an old man that Lin Fan had never seen before held a bow. The bow looked extraordinary, and it had a black dragon body. There were no arrows, but when the old man pulled it back, a shocking power gathered. That old man was the expert who guarded the Tao artifact. His cultivation was really strong, and he wouldn't come out usually. He just guarded the Tao artifact. This Tao artifact was extraordinary, and it was a killing artifact. It gathered the power of heaven and earth and gathered the strongest strike to kill him. The old man was expressionless and just stared right at Lin Fan. Maybe to him, the others weren't important anymore, and this person who destroyed heaven-covering demon sect deserved to die. So, you had a backup plan. Lin Fan didn't hide and just looked at him. What Tao artifact is that? It feels decent and actually makes me feel a sense of danger. This doesn't happen often. The old man didn't care about Lin Fan. Maybe he thought that it was useless to say so much to someone who was about to die. Not long later, the old man opened his mouth. Die, Shio. The old man released his hand, and a streak of light shot through the dimension and time towards Lin Fan. The terrifying aura shocked everyone. Even before it reached him, one could sense the terrifying power. Black Prison was filled with anticipation. He believed that Lin Fan would definitely die. This was heaven-covering demon sect's strongest Tao artifact. The streak of light tore through the sky and formed a storm. Everything around was unable to handle such power, and all avoided it. It is really amazing. I sense a shocking power. Lin Fan was really calm, but at that moment, his expression turned arrogant. But if you want to rely on this to kill me, you are not strong enough. The moment he said this, the arrow that was formed was right in front of him. Lin Fan didn't dodge as he knew that it was useless. The arrow had a tracking effect, and the power of heaven and earth locked onto his aura. He opened his arms and hollered, blocking the arrow. Pung pung. Lin Fan felt that the power was really strong. The moment he touched it, he actually couldn't take it and retreated. But very quickly, he adjusted himself and stopped retreating. What? When the old man saw this, his expression changed, and he was filled with disbelief. He knew that Lin Fan was strong, and even if he couldn't kill him, he could at least heavily injure him. But looking at the situation, it wasn't what he expected. Shatter! Lin Fan hollered in rage. The arrow in his hand shattered and turned into the purest power of heaven and earth that dissipated in the air. He was a little interested in the bow. Without saying a word, he turned into a streak of light and struck towards the old man. Be careful! Elder Black Prison exclaimed, but it was too late. Lin Fan appeared in front of the old man and grinned. He stretched out his hand and sent the old man flying with a thud. He then took the bow in his hand and looked at it carefully. It was a decent item. He kept the Dao artifact and shouted, General Zhu, General Wu, stop. That is enough. Okay, Zhu Daoshan replied. But suddenly, his expression changed. The way he looked at Lin Fan was different. He didn't expect that young Master Lin would reveal their background right away. When the furious heaven-covering old demon heard this, he was shocked. He looked at the two of them and said, You are Alliance 9-star generals? Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga didn't reply. Naturally, they wouldn't admit it. They just looked at Lin Fan in rage and felt like he had betrayed them. Lin Fan said, Why ask if you know? These two are my good friends, the strongest 9-star generals Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga. Heaven-covering old demon knew about the background of these two 9-star generals. He didn't doubt Lin Fan's words at all. Apart from the strongest 9-star generals, who else could they be to block him and make him suffer losses? So, you actually colluded with the Alliance. Good. Heaven-covering old demon understood that this matter was a little complicated. The Alliance headquarters actually helped Lin Fan to deal with them. This matter had to be spread out. Lin Fan said, What nonsense are you saying? What do you mean by colluding? These two are my friends, and when they heard that heaven-covering demon sect was so arrogant, they were furious and insisted on coming over to help. This is why such a thing happened today. Okay, I'm too lazy to talk to you. From now onwards, watch carefully, otherwise the sect will be wiped out next time. It was enough for him to say all that. It wasn't good to say too much. Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga didn't even need to wear masks. They had taken them off long ago. Seeing Lin Fan walk into the distance, they followed closely. Young Master Lin, how could you expose us? Zhu Daoshan raged. Lin Fan found it weird. Why? You didn't say that I couldn't expose you. Is there a problem? Zhu Daoshan looked at Lin Fan and took in a deep breath. He wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. Chapter 505. Young Master Lin, you really are despicable. Zhu Daoshan was furious, but he knew that this wasn't the time to be angry at Lin Fan. What happened next was more important. Heaven-covering demon sect was one of the top sects in Evil Alliance, and now that they knew who they were, it would have a huge impact. Their actions would probably have a huge impact on the current situation. But all of that wasn't important anymore. Lin Fan frowned. Your words are a little too much. When was I despicable? I traded with all of you to help heaven-covering demon sect. You didn't say that you needed to hide your identities. Moreover, what are you afraid of? Isn't the Alliance headquarters going to occupy this place? Isn't it normal for you to be the vanguard? Zhu Daoshan really wanted to curse, but he suppressed it. As expected, from the start till now, Lin Fan had no good intentions and was trying to lead them into a trap. Wu Zhiga was really hot-tempered, and his gaze towards Lin Fan was like he wanted to swallow him up. You can say whatever you want now, but the two of us are going to die because of you, Zhu Daoshan said. For some reason, he regretted it. He knew that this would happen. Maybe he shouldn't have agreed to the trade with him. Lin Fan smiled and felt that Zhu Daoshan was a joke. If he didn't harm them, would he have loved them? Didn't they see the situation between them? They were enemies and were about to fight at any moment. Zhu Daoshan stared at Lin Fan and said, Now, do you want to run? I should have known that you couldn't be trusted. You lied to us to make us enemies with Evil Alliance so that they could deal with the Alliance headquarters. As expected, you are so cunning. From the start, he had a sliver of trust towards Lin Fan. But right now, that trust was gone. He really wanted to smack his head in rage. Why did he choose to trust him? Damn it. But what Lin Fan said next stunned Zhu Daoshen, and he was filled with disbelief. Run? Why would I run? I have to keep my promise, and naturally, I won't go back on my promise. Let's go. It is time to do something for all of you at the Alliance headquarters. Lin Fan said. What did you say? Zhu Daoshen felt like he had heard wrongly and looked at Lin Fan with a stunned expression. Lin Fan took a look and walked forwards. He said impatiently, What is there to say? Are you leaving or not? If you don't want to leave, then I will. Zhu Daoshen and Wu Zhiga exchanged glances with one another. The two of them were stunned and felt that the development was a little weird. Although it was what they hoped for, Lin Fan's actions were too normal. They felt like there was a plot hidden within. Can his word be trusted? I don't know. I just feel like something's wrong. Following behind Lin Fan, the two of them were deep in thought. For some unknown reason, the thought of not bringing this lad back surfaced in their minds. But if they did not capture Lin Fan back, all of their previous efforts would be for naught. Everything they had done would be for the sake of the other party. Lin Fan realized that their expressions were a little unnatural. He didn't say much. What a strange person. I'm already willing to follow you back to the Alliance headquarters, and you still don't believe me? Zhu Daoshen didn't understand and asked directly, Are you really willing to follow us back to the Alliance headquarters? Lin Fan said, Of course, a man has to keep his word. If I say I will accompany you back, I will. I definitely won't lie to you. At this moment, for some unknown reason, Zhu Daoshen actually felt that this kid was really trustworthy. Although he was a little despicable, there are just too few trustworthy people. I hope that you didn't lie to us. Zhu Daoshen said. Lin Fan shook his head and smiled. He didn't want to say anything more about Zhu Daoshen's worries. There was no benefit in lying to them. He had something important to do at the Alliance headquarters. Heaven-covering demon sect suffered heavy losses, and the surrounding environment was like hell. Even the sect's Dao artifact was stolen. So how could heaven-covering old demon accept that? Alliance headquarters, you jerk, heaven-covering old demon pushed all the blame to the Alliance headquarters. If not for the two strongest 9-star generals stopping him, such a thing wouldn't have happened. At the same time, it made heaven-covering old demon think about something. Lin Fan was actually colluding with the Alliance headquarters. The situation was a little complicated. Evil Alliance meeting hall. A period of time had passed since heaven-covering demon's sect faced trouble. What I said is true. Lin Fan brought Zhu Daoshen and Wu Zhiga to heaven-covering demon's sect to wreak havoc. They have been working together for a long time. If we continue to fight amongst ourselves, then one day Evil Alliance will cease to exist and all your sects will be wiped out. Heaven-covering old demon stood in the middle of the meeting hall and described the calamity that he faced. The people gathered here were all Evil Alliance, peerless old demons. Some looked on coldly, some gloated, and some were afraid. Isn't that a little too serious? An old ancestor said. Many people nodded their heads in agreement and felt that it was indeed a little too serious. Evil Spirit Old Ancestor said, I think that this matter isn't as simple as it seems. Think about it. Who informed us about Lin Fan? It was the Alliance headquarters. They knew about Lin Fan's situation, so why didn't they attack and instead made us attack? At the start, I thought that they were afraid of Lin Wani. It seems like that isn't the case. Lin Fan has something to do with the Alliance. From the start, there was a plot. The war between the 4 alliances was started by this kid, so this is a plot by the Alliance. They want us to kill one another and weaken us. Evil Spirit Old Ancestor's conjecture was backed up, and it sounded like the truth. It sounded like there was no problem at all. Thus, everyone present felt a chill in their hearts and shuddered. It was as if they had fallen into some kind of unbelievably terrifying trap. Evil Spirit Old Ancestor said, The key thing now is that we have to tell everyone that Lin Wani's son is colluding with the Alliance. At the same time, I want to stop the war, and we can't continue to fall for their tricks. He felt that everyone would agree with what he said. After all, this was for their own good. If they acted on their own, the outcome would be catastrophic. Today, He didn't care about what others thought. Evil spirit old ancestor just felt really comfortable. Old demon Wu had a high status in Shidao sect. He didn't say a word not because he didn't know what to say, but because he didn't want to. But what shocked him was that the two strongest 9-star generals of the Alliance were actually colluding with Lin Fan and even attacking heaven-covering demon sect. Which sect could block such combat strength? Even Shidao sect wouldn't be able to. In a hidden and mysterious place. I've gotten what you wanted, and what I want, have you brought it? A rather illusory voice rang out. Zhenming looked at the mysterious person who he didn't know was male or female. He didn't think much and tossed a stone that was giving off a red glow to him. His palm was transparent. After receiving it, he took a look and kept it. He then tossed the recording device to Zhenming. The deal is complete. But you really have balls to actually attack the Alliance, the mysterious person said. Zhenming looked at him. I don't want a third party to know about this. Don't worry, I'm still a professional. If you have any problems in the future, you can find me. But what I want is something else. The mysterious person smiled and then disappeared from the spot. Zhenming looked at the device in his hand, and his gaze turned dark and cold. He left the spot and headed into the distance. Alliance territory. Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga brought Lin Fan back. Lin Fan had never come to the Alliance before, but under the lead of the two strongest 9-star generals, he was able to come here unobstructed. Will your people really believe that you captured me after treating me like this? Lin Fan smiled and asked. His wrists were tied up by ropes formed from Dao patterns. To normal people, it was really tough to break free from such bindings. But who was Lin Fan? He was someone who could fight against the strongest 9-star generals head-on. What was the use of Dao patterns? He could just struggle and break free. Zhu Daoshan looked at Lin Fan, and his eyes shone. In just a short while, someone will come and pick you up. When that happens, you can leave, but you have to promise that you won't hurt Alliance people. Kiki. Lin Fan smiled and raised his head to look at the other party. That request is really too much. But sure, I can't be bothered to kill unarmed people. However, you have to promise me that if there's a war in the future, I won't allow those unarmed natives to be harmed. Okay, deal, Zhu Daoshan replied. Wu Zhiga frowned and felt that Zhu Daoshan's actions weren't good. But in such a situation, he couldn't say much. They were all in the same boat. So what else could he do? This was why, although he was unhappy that Zhu Daoshan agreed to their conditions, there was nothing he could do. News of Lin Wani's son being captured had already spread throughout the Alliance. Those 9-star generals who thought that Zhu Daoshan would fail were all shocked. How amazing. Could it be that he was high on drugs? He actually managed to catch him. After the commander heard this, he smiled in delight. At least he didn't fail. Otherwise, it would be tough for him to explain himself. The Alliance's interviewers seemed to have smelled the fragrance of meat and surged over. They all wanted to get some useful information right away. When Lin Fan saw the Alliance environment, he felt like he had returned to the past. There were many tall buildings, and it gave off a modern feel. What a decent place. Lin Fan smiled. Zhu Daoshan paid attention to Lin Fan's expression. Normally speaking, when one saw such a world, one would be shocked. After all, the technology level of the natives was terrifyingly low. One could even say that they had no technology at all. Didn't he have any thoughts when he saw such advanced technology? But what he didn't know was that Lin Fan wasn't a native, but someone who had lived through the modern era. Chapter 506. Zhu Daoshan said, If you think it is not bad, you can stay here. I think the Alliance will definitely welcome you. General Zhu, is your Alliance so friendly? Lin Fan looked at him and smiled. Zhu Daoshan wanted to reply, but he kept quiet. He felt like he was mocking him, so he just shook his head and didn't say anything else. It was already good that he could trade now. He also wouldn't think so much about impossible things. They weren't in the Alliance city and were just at an intersection, but there were already many hovering cars heading over. In the distance, a hovering car with UNT words on it flew over. This was the Alliance news channel. The people in the car rubbed their palms and were prepared to do something huge. Liang Yuan was a reporter from the Alliance news channel. She had short hair and dressed well. She had 3 years of experience. Even if she had seen many things, what she was about to face made her nervous. There were 3 other young people in the car, and they were discussing. Their topic was all about Lin Fan. After all, Lin Fan was a famous person in the Alliance and had brought many problems to the Alliance. Even the strongest 9-star generals had suffered at their hands. This made many Alliance civilians call for them to capture him. They couldn't give him a chance to behave so arrogantly, and they had to let him know how strong the Alliance was. Sister Liang, what kind of person is that person? He looks just like that in the picture. So why is he so terrifying? Does he know how to transform? Right? He actually needed 2 of the strongest 9-star generals. That is just too terrifying. To them, the strongest 9-star generals were existences that they couldn't reach. Although their reputation wasn't good recently, it couldn't cover the shine of the strongest 9-star generals. Liang Yuan shook her head. I don't know. I haven't come into contact with him, and he is just too mysterious. But even if he is terrifying, it doesn't matter. He has been captured, and what awaits him is the Alliance headquarters punishment. They got closer and closer to their destination. Liang Yuan packed her things and said, Okay, prepare yourselves. There will be a tough battle, and many competitors are coming. Start the live broadcast, and don't let anything go wrong. Sister Liang, don't worry. Leave it to me. No problem. General Zhu, do you feel relieved now? Lin Fan looked at Zhu Daoshan with a smile on his face. He didn't feel any fear from being caught by the Alliance at all. Young Master Lin, you should cooperate with us. Once the interview ends, it will have nothing to do with us. At that time, you should head back. Zhu Daoshan said. They were only in charge of bringing Lin Fan back and then handing him over to the people from the Alliance headquarters for them to bring him away. Naturally, Wu Zhiga and him would leave early and not participate in this. All right, no problem. Lin Fan looked at the crowd coming from afar. He kept the smile on his face and became calm. In fact, there wasn't even a hint of surprise on his face. The reporters quickly squeezed over. Don't push, don't push. Who's squeezing? Do you want to die? It was a mess. Some of them even started slapping at Lin Fan. Not far away, Liang Yuan calmed herself down and nodded toward the camera. She picked up the microphone and said, Guys, we are at the entrance of the Alliance. The situation is really chaotic, and there are many people here. 2 of the strongest 9-star generals are suppressing the native criminal. All of you are familiar with this native. He is the person who destroyed the Alliance's plans many times and brought huge losses to the Alliance. But all of you can see that he is being held up by the 2 9-star generals and can't fight back at all. I think he must be terrified now, but I want to tell all of you that as long as he commits a crime, the Alliance won't let him go. What awaits him will be the Alliance's strictest trial. As this was a live broadcast, there were many Alliance citizens watching. Ha ha, he has finally been caught. Alliance 9-star generals, good job. Since he dares to provoke the Alliance, he should pay the price. He is so young, but so brainless. Our Alliance is helping these natives, and they actually don't know what is good for them. They deserve to be caught. Let's give a thumbs up to the 2 strongest 9-star generals. Nonsense. They are living a good life, and it was the Alliance who invaded them. It is like your home being invaded. So how can you not fight back? The idiot above, the Alliance is so strong. The Alliance is so domineering. Lin Fan looked at the Alliance citizens who were snapping pictures of him. He didn't feel anything, and he didn't even have any thoughts. Wu Zhiga was being interviewed and was describing the capture situation. Naturally, he couldn't say that it was a simple capture. Instead, he made it sound like it was really difficult. In the end, he spent a lot of effort to capture the target. His description was met with many cheers. Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga looked at one another and nodded their heads in delight. They finally didn't need to be the scapegoat anymore. Truthfully, they really couldn't carry it anymore. If they continued, their waist would probably collapse from the pressure. At that moment, Liang Yuan held a microphone in front of them. 2 respected 9-star generals. I am a reporter from the Alliance News Channel. Can I interview him? Zhu Daoshan nodded. Sure, but not for too long. Thank you, General Zhu. Liang Yuan was very grateful. Then, She looked at Lin Fan and had a thought in her mind. He was a handsome guy, but she quickly threw that thought to the back of her mind and asked, "Have you ever regretted your actions?" Lin Fan smiled. "Beauty, your question is a little complicated. I'm unable to reply to you all of a sudden." It was a live broadcast. Lin Fan's smile was directly shown to all the Alliance citizens. Damn, what an arrogant smile. I can't take it. I want to go there and smash his head. Don't be rash. Two of the strongest 9-star generals were sent to capture him. With your strength, do you think you were his match? As expected from the ignorant natives, the Alliance shouldn't have saved them. They should have let them die on their own. Liang Yuan was really professional and didn't get angry. She continued to ask, "You cruelly killed Alliance soldiers and wiped out many cities. Do you regret your actions? Or are you a pervert who likes to kill?" Lin Fan didn't reply right away. He looked at Zhu Daoshan and said, "Your Alliance headquarters is really amazing. You have really brainwashed them." Zhu Daoshan smiled awkwardly. Not only Lin Fan, but even he felt that this female reporter's question was a little dumb. Forget it. Then, why did the Alliance kill all the natives in the city? Lin Fan asked. Liang Yuan said, "There will definitely be casualties in war. Those are the obstacles that prevent the Alliance from saving more people. They're all selfish and don't care about the happiness of more people." Lin Fan retracted his smile, and his tone became dark and sunken. "So, you are saying that they deserve to die?" Liang Yuan sensed the change in his tone. In particular, the other party's eyes revealed a hint of anger. She was a little afraid, but thinking about how this was the Alliance and that she was a reporter, how could she be afraid of these people? Liang Yuan gathered her courage and stared right into his eyes. At that moment, Lin Fan raised his leg and wanted to kick him. But instantly, Zhu Daoshan grabbed Lin Fan's leg and said softly, "Young Master Lin, I know that there is something wrong with her head, but can you let the two of us get away? You can do whatever you want after this." Liang Yuan didn't know what had happened. She didn't think that there was anything wrong with what she said. On the streaming platform, "My goddess is so overbearing." She asked him twice and caused his expression to change. Haha, this fellow definitely wants to attack, but he has no choice. This is the Alliance, and he is being suppressed by two of the strongest 9-star generals. Even if he wants to attack, he has to see whether or not he has the ability. Liang Yuan wanted to continue asking, but Zhu Daoshan stopped her. The way he looked at Liang Yuan had changed. Even if he was asking to die, he shouldn't drag the two of them down with him. What else was there to ask? He was just brainless. Very quickly, the people sent by the Alliance headquarters arrived. They were all 9-star generals, and their cultivations weren't weak. This was enough to show how much importance the Alliance placed on Lin Fan. At that moment, an old man walked over. "General Zhu, General Wu, we are here to take over." Zhu Daoshan passed Lin Fan over right away. Done. What happens next is up to you. General Wu and I are really tired, so we will take our leave first. He didn't even wait for him to say anything. Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga left right away. What happened next had nothing to do with the two of them. Of course, they didn't leave right away. Instead, they hid in the distance and looked at the situation warily. Although they said that they couldn't attack normal people who knew what the exact situation would be like. So, it was better to watch first in case there were any problems. The old man who took over Lin Fan was one of the strongest 9-star generals in the Alliance. He was really strong and showed signs of reaching Dao Realm Stage 7. He didn't know about Lin Fan's deal with Zhu Dao Saint's sect. In case anything happened, he tied up Lin Fan's hands and used them to suppress Lin Fan's strength. "Behave," the old man said. "General Chun, I am a reporter from the Alliance News Channel. I asked a few questions, but the situation isn't good. Can I have some time to ask a few questions?" Liang Yuan asked. General Chen smiled. "Sure, but not for too long. He is an important criminal, and we need to bring him away." "Don't worry, it won't take long," Liang Yuan said. Lin Fan looked at her and said calmly, "Be *tisish. Let me warn you. Don't offend me, otherwise, this day next year will be your death anniversary." "Preposterous," General Chun hollered in rage. He didn't expect this fellow to still dare to be so arrogant. Liang Yuan stared at Lin Fan and said, "Are you angry because I was right? We all know about the situation with the natives, and they have been living in hell. Our alliance is Peng." She was really quick. No one was able to react at all. Liang Yuan, who was just in front of them, disappeared. "You are asking to die." Lin Fan took it in for a long time and finally attacked. Chapter 507. A slow motion replay. Just now, when the reporter said, "Our alliance is at," he did not finish his sentence and only ended with the word "at" before his voice was completely cut off. Lin Fan's kick was simple. With his Tao Realm Stage 7 cultivation, it could be said to be able to destroy heaven and earth. Naturally, a defenseless person wouldn't be able to take such power. The moment he was kicked in the stomach, he turned to dust and disappeared from the world. There wasn't even a single drop of blood. The entire place was silent. To the normal people, they were still stunned. They didn't know what had happened. Why did she disappear just like that? The worker carrying the equipment blinked. Liang Yuan, who was interviewing him, disappeared just like that. "You are asking to die." Naturally, General Chen knew what had happened. But he was too quick, and even he couldn't react. When he did, it was already too late. He could only watch helplessly as the flower-like girl disappeared from his sight. He was furious and punched Lin Fan's face, giving him the heaviest blow. Pung! His fist and Lin Fan's face clashed. Logically speaking, that fist should have been enough to suppress him. But what happened next was something that no one could understand. Lin Fan didn't move at all. He turned his head and looked at him. He reached out and grabbed his head. He hollered and smashed him to the ground. There was a loud explosion. The ground cracked, and countless cracks appeared on it. Screams spread out. To the normal people, it was like an earthquake. They couldn't stand still, and all of them fell to the ground. Lin Fan released his hand and grabbed the worker who was carrying the equipment. Then, with a leap, he was already on top of a lighthouse. In the distance. How can he attack? Wu Zhiga was shocked and furious. They said that they wouldn't attack normal people, but who knew that Lin Fan would go back on his words? "There's nothing we can do. There's something wrong with this little girl's brain. Even if we really suppressed him, she still needs to use her brain. How can normal people like them offend an existence that can only be suppressed by two of the strongest 9-star generals? Moreover, do you think he can take those questions? We have already reminded her not to ask, but she is asking to die. No one can save her." Zhu Daoshan didn't find anything wrong with it. Even though Lin Fan had already made his move, it was still within reason. Wu Zhiga said, "But the situation now isn't too good. We should also stop him." "Don't rush, wait," Zhu Daoshan said. They were now peeping Toms. He hid in the dark and observed carefully. If Lin Fan really made a move, they naturally couldn't just sit back and watch. As for now, it wouldn't be a problem for 1 or 2 ordinary people to die. The man who was dragged to the top of the tower was terrified. His legs were trembling and his pants were a little wet. Big brother, what are you doing?" Blah, blah. He couldn't understand it at all. Lin Fan didn't understand what they were saying, but it was obvious that they were speaking in the Alliance language. But to Lin Fan, none of that mattered. He looked at the equipment and said, "One day, you will experience the arrival of despair, and you should cherish the life you have now." Some of the Alliance citizens watching the broadcast didn't know what he was talking about. But looking at the other party's expression, one could tell that he was very arrogant. Regardless of whether they understood or not, they were all furious. There weren't many rage points. Even if they were in a rage state, they wouldn't gain any rage points. There were too many ordinary people. They couldn't even compare to normal sect disciples. They were just so useless. But even then, the number of rage points provided was quite decent. The number of people streaming increased. What an arrogant fellow. What are the 9-star generals doing? Why aren't they capturing him? Wow, what a handsome native. He is so overbearing. Ibi***, are you dumb? He is a native, and he is causing trouble in our territory. Lin Fan looked decent and was really strong. He gave off an aura that normal people couldn't have. General Chun spat out fresh blood, but he was still conscious. He hollered in rage. "What are all of you doing? Stop him. We can't let him cause trouble." The surrounding 9-star generals were stunned. They instantly reacted, and their expressions were really ugly. They knew their place and knew that they weren't his match. But as Alliance 9-star generals, they had to attack. They couldn't allow him to behave so arrogantly in their territory. Then, they exchanged glances with one another and nodded. Since that was the case, then they could only go all out. Attack, take him down. We can't let him do as he pleases in the Alliance. At that moment, a bunch of 9-star generals rose into the air and charged towards Lin Fan. Lin Fan glanced in disdain. "You're asking to die." The moment he said this, Lin Fan raised his hand and slammed it down. His palm covered the sky, and a terrifying aura pressed down. For those 9-star generals, they felt an irresistible power pressing down on their bodies. They couldn't fight back at all. There was a loud explosion. Those 9-star generals who flew into the air felt like their bodies were about to explode. Each part of their skin cracked, and they fell to the ground, smashing deep holes in the ground. In the blink of an eye, he was really quick. A bunch of 9-star generals were suppressed by Lin Fan. Lin Fan stood on the spot and didn't move at all. A breeze blew over, and his long hair danced in the wind. It gave one a really breathtaking feeling. Maybe because of their professionalism, the workers who were held hostage by Lin Fan wouldn't let go of any major news. They actually ignored Lin Fan's existence and focused their cameras on the situation below. Shock. The people watching the broadcast didn't expect that the invincible 9-star general in their hearts would be so weak. This is fake, right? Fake my A** guess. We're doomed. We're doomed. Where in the world are Marshal Zhu and Marshal Wu? There's no way they can stop him. Too handsome, too domineering. I worship him from the bottom of my heart. Zhu Daoshan looked at everything in front of him and thought about it. Brother Wu, it is time for us to attack. Otherwise, it won't feel real. Let's head out? Wu Zhiga asked. Right, we escorted him to the Alliance and handed him to them to take care of him. But they didn't take good care of him, and it has nothing to do with us. We chase him away. Who else can blame us for such an outcome? Zhu Daoshan thought about it and felt like this was the only way. Wu Zhiga agreed with Zhu Daoshan's idea. The two of them looked at one another and made up their minds. At that moment, the two of them appeared in front of everyone as the protectors of the Alliance. Lin Fan, you actually dare to behave so arrogantly in the Alliance. Zhu Daoshan hollered in rage. His voice was like thunder that spread all around. When the civilians heard this, their terrified and uneasy hearts calmed down. To them, the strongest 9-star generals were here, so naturally, they wouldn't be in any danger. Wu Zhiga stared at General Chun in rage. We handed him to you, but you didn't manage him well. You deserve to die. After this, the Alliance Court will punish you. General Chun, who was already badly injured, nearly spat out blood when he heard this. Damn, how shameless did one have to be to say such words? He actually said that they didn't manage him well. Could he be any more shameless? After they took over, they didn't even do anything and Lin Fan attacked. We didn't even know what happened. But all of that wasn't important anymore. Zhu Daoshan looked at Lin Fan. His gaze was a communication that only he and he could understand. Roughly, he meant, just leave and let things end just like that. Lin Fan just wanted to come to the Alliance, and now that his wish had been fulfilled, he didn't want to cause any more trouble in the Alliance. It was hard to say whether or not the Alliance headquarters had stronger experts, but if he continued to stay, he would definitely attract more experts. When that happened, a war would definitely be unavoidable. Alliance, I will return. The moment he said this, Lin Fan rose into the air and stepped into the dimension, disappearing from everyone's eyes. After Lin Fan left, the tower shattered with a punk. It broke into numerous pieces and fell to the ground. The news workers shouted in panic. Zhu Daoshan was annoyed. He waved his hand and saved that person. They didn't chase, but they were relieved. It was finally over. To them, it was all worth it. Their only goal in going out to capture Lin Fan was to protect their own dignity. At the same time, they wanted to let the citizens know that they were still alive. The live broadcast was cut off, but the citizens watching the live broadcast were in different moods. Normal citizens couldn't give him any rage points at all. However, ordinary citizens were not the only ones watching the live stream. There were many experts as well. When they saw how arrogant Lin Fan was in front of the Alliance, rage burned in their hearts. Especially when the goddess like Liang Yuan suddenly disappeared. They felt as if their hearts were going to explode. Although he did not know what was going on. However, they were certain that he had been beaten to death by the other party. At the thought of the goddess like Liang Yuan being beaten up so badly that not even a strand of hair was left, they wanted to smash the screen. Alliance headquarters meeting room. Commander, we spent so much effort to capture Lin Fan, but who knew that there would be problems in their hands? They really can't do anything right. Wu Zhiga raged. In any case, they had already shaken off the responsibility. He would never take responsibility for this matter. The other 9-star generals felt that something was off, but they couldn't say anything. They could only look at the two of them and think about other things. Zhu Daoshan said, Commander, I'm a little tired, so I will head back to rest. Wait. The commander opened his mouth and stopped Zhu Daoshan. I have something to ask you. Zhu Daoshan looked at the commander and nodded. Please speak. The commander's face was calm, but the way he looked at the two of them changed. What is your relationship with Lin Wani's son? Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga thought that the commander would ask something, but when they heard that, their expressions changed. Then, they calmed back down. What does commander mean? Zhu Daoshan asked. The commander said, You just need to answer my question. What is your relationship with him? Chapter 508. Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga's hearts jumped. The commander actually asked such a question. This meant that the commander definitely knew something, otherwise, he wouldn't have asked such a question. We have nothing to do with each other. Zhu Daoshan replied. Wu Zhiga raged. Does the commander think that we have something to do with him? Their rebuttal was a little weak. When the other 9-star generals in the meeting room heard the commander's question, they were all stunned. They felt that it was unbelievable and they didn't dare to believe it. There was a deeper meaning behind his words. A 9-star general stepped out. Commander, is there a misunderstanding? We can talk about other things, but we can't talk about colluding with natives like this. This 9-star general mocked the two of them last time, saying that they were old and that they should give up their title. Who knew that he would speak up for Zhu Daoshan now? He was a logical person. He knew that the Alliance could continue to be strong because they couldn't be sowed by others. The strongest 9-star generals were the support of the Alliance, and without them, the outcome would be catastrophic. Right, General Zhu and General Wu have contributed so much to the Alliance, so we can't let others frame them. Many 9-star generals stepped out and said. They didn't gloat or kick them when they were down. At such a position, none of them were fools. If they thought that killing the strongest 9-star generals would allow them to ascend, then they wouldn't be able to do so for long. The main reason was that the Alliance had too many enemies. The enemies they faced were also strong enough. The commander raised his hand and told everyone to keep quiet. General Zhu, General Wu, let me ask you one last time. Do you have anything you want to say to me? The commander looked at the two of them coldly. No, Zhu Daoshan said firmly. Okay, since that is the case, then take a look at this. I just received it, and you can take a look. The commander's face was dark and sunken. He took out a piece of equipment and passed it to the person beside him. Very quickly, scenes appeared in the meeting room. The scenes were of Lin Fan, Zhu Daoshan, and the others. Looking at the scenes, they seemed to have a good relationship and even attacked heaven-covering demon sect together. The entire process was recorded. When Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga saw these scenes, his brain exploded with a bang. How could this be? The first thought that came to their minds was that Lin Fan had tricked them. But then again, it was impossible. That kid had no chance at all. But who did it? He was able to record everything without them noticing. That could only mean that the other party had been following them all this time, and they had not been able to discover him. The originally noisy conference room suddenly quieted down. Those 9-star generals who spoke up for Zhu Daoshan wanted to say something, but they stopped. They could only look at Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga in confusion and hope that they could give a reason. even if it wasn't a very convincing reason. They would also choose to believe. Who did this? How could they be so despicable? Wu Zhiga couldn't help but roar. He didn't expect that someone would secretly record their movements. Wu Zhiga looked at the crowd and noticed that their gazes had changed. He didn't know why, but he felt as if his heart was blocked. Panic. He was starting to panic. The commander said, "What else do you have to say to me?" "Commander, Wu Zhiga and I have never betrayed the alliance, and we have never colluded with them," Zhu Daoshan said solemnly. He knew that someone was trying to mess with them, but as for who it was, he didn't know. "Commander, I have given up everything for the alliance. Now that someone has recorded this, I don't want to explain because explaining is just an insult to me. So, I'm asking you whether or not you believe me," Zhu Daoshan asked. The commander looked at Zhu Daoshan and kept silent for a long while. His true thoughts were that he believed everything that Zhu Daoshan said. But the evidence was clear, so if he didn't have a reason, then how would he believe him? "I believe you, but tell me, what is going on? Why are the two of you attacking heaven-covering demon sect? Don't you know that the war between the four alliances benefits the alliance? Now that you have attracted the attention of evil alliance, you should know what you're going to face next." The commander really didn't dare to believe that the two strongest 9-star generals would actually help Lin Fan suppress heaven-covering demon sect. They even let Lin Fan know where they came from. As long as one had a brain, one would know the outcome. But what he didn't know was how much pressure the Alliance 9-star generals brought to the two of them. They only had one thought in their hearts. That was to prove to everyone that they hadn't aged. Zhu Daoshan said, "Commander, we can't tell you the exact situation, but we can swear that we will be forever loyal to the Alliance and won't collude with the natives. As for exposing our identities, we can only say that they conned us." Wu Zhiga kept silent. He knew that it was best to let Zhu Daoshan deal with this. After all, this fellow was much better at talking than him. Now that the evidence was clear, if it was a normal person or another 9-star general, he wouldn't believe it. But since it was Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga, he knew that the two of them wouldn't betray the alliance. He knew that the person who sent the equipment to him wanted the alliance to deal with the two strongest 9-star generals. Anyone who was smart would be able to see that. At that moment, one of the 9-star generals in the meeting room opened his mouth. "Although the evidence is clear, I believe the two of you." "I believe too. Alliance 9-star generals aren't people that outsiders can deal with. The two of them entered the alliance at 14 and decades have passed. They have contributed so much to the alliance, so how can we suspect them? Right, the alliance was able to suppress Hell Mountain and Ocean Emperor Island, not because of strength, but because of trust. At such a crucial moment, naturally, the enemy will try to sow discord within the alliance." Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga were stunned as they looked at them. They didn't expect that they wouldn't hit them when they were down and would instead trust them. This touched Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga. He nodded towards them and thanked them for their trust. Suddenly, a 9-star general exclaimed, "Commander, this is bad. Someone posted this video on the Alliance platform, and it has reached 100 million views. It is still spreading quickly, and I think the entire Alliance has heard about it." "What?" The commander was shocked. He stood up in disbelief and said anxiously, "Quick! Forget it, we can't stop them." The commander sat down powerlessly. He frowned. "Someone wants you to die." The 9-star generals in the meeting room felt like this matter wasn't good. Although the Alliance people didn't have strength, the consequences were really terrifying. What was even more terrifying was their middle and lower foundations. They were the foundation of the Alliance, and if they realized that the Alliance didn't deal with the two strongest 9-star generals, it would be a huge blow to them. They felt that the Alliance higher-ups weren't safe and that there were enemy spies. If they didn't ask about it, no one could predict what would happen next. Outside world, there was no need to say anything more. The development was much more terrifying than they had expected. What happened? Damn! General Zhu and General Wu actually colluded with the natives. That is impossible, right? Why is that impossible? The video is already here, so how can it be fake? Old Zhu, Old Wu, the Alliance headquarters needs to give us an explanation. Not only were the normal people furious, But even the people from the college faction were filled with distrust towards the Alliance headquarters when they saw the video. After all, they were the two strongest 9-star generals. Since such a thing happened to the higher-ups, how could they trust the Alliance headquarters? That day, the outside world was in chaos. The biggest protest in the history of the Alliance had erupted. Maybe someone organized it, or maybe the Alliance civilians started it themselves. But it was enough to show how much of an impact this matter had on the Alliance. The 9-star generals in the meeting room kept silent for a long time and discussed for a long time. If things didn't develop perfectly, it would be a huge problem. Commander, there is no need to say anymore. This started because of us, and we are willing to take responsibility. We don't deserve the title of strongest 9-star general, so please take it back. Zhu Daoxuan knew that it was tough to turn back. If he didn't satisfy the people, then the Alliance headquarters' credibility would be affected. At the same time, their attacks on the natives would be affected too. This old man is truly regretful. Wu Zhige was so furious that his liver hurt. If he didn't work with that kid, then such a thing wouldn't have happened. Not only was he regretful, but even Zhu Daoxuan was regretful. Because of their own honor, the Alliance headquarters suffered such a huge blow. That was just a dumb thing to do. The commander looked at the two of them. All of a sudden, he didn't know what to say. Okay, the situation is too complicated. But don't worry, this matter will be solved. As for who released the video, we have to find it. To be so familiar with the Alliance platform, it has to be someone from the Alliance. The commander said. This was also what he was most worried about. All things added together, one could see that the person who released the video was from the Alliance, and he wasn't weak. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to film their tracks so easily. After all, it was really difficult to film the tracks of two of the strongest 9-star generals without attracting attention. The next day, the Alliance headquarters officially announced the latest news. They didn't say that Zhu Daoxuan and the others had betrayed the Alliance. Instead, they removed their titles and said that they had investigated and the results would be announced in the future. Of course, naturally, such an outcome wouldn't satisfy everyone, but at least it could appease the Alliance civilians. Hell Mountain. Evil God Jin Ming stayed in his room and looked at the latest news. He was expressionless, but his eyes shone, filled with rage and hatred. Chapter 509. Since Lin Fan returned from the Alliance, he was in a good mood. The key was that he gained a lot of rage points. But there were too many of them. Even if they were furious, they wouldn't be able to provide any rage points. They were angry because of the death of their goddess. After all, they were small people, and it was normal that they couldn't provide rage points. Of course, there were many people who couldn't stand Lin Fan's arrogant actions and provided rage points to him. To these people, Lin Fan only wanted to tell them, "Thank you so much, Marshal Path Mountain. Young Master Lin, there have been rumors that you and the two strongest 9-star generals went to heaven-covering demon sect and caused a huge problem. Is that true or false?" Zhao Lishan asked eagerly. When he found out about the news, he was stunned. The first thought in his mind was that it was impossible. Why would young Master Lin collude with the Alliance? There had to be a reason. Really, there's indeed such a thing. Lin Fan said. Zhao Lishan frowned. Not long later, he seemed to have understood something. His frown relaxed, and he smiled. So that is the case. You are diverting the trouble to the Alliance. Young Master Lin, you have done a great job. But it is a little inappropriate. Evil Alliance is spreading the news that you are colluding with the Alliance. Naturally, we know why, but I am afraid that others will believe their words. That was indeed the case. Nowadays, people are usually not very sly, and they are very trusting of others. At such a crucial moment, Lin Fan attacked heaven-covering demon sect with the Alliance. To outsiders, naturally, he was colluding with the Alliance. It would affect his reputation greatly. Lin Fan didn't care. If they believe, then so be it. What is the point of needing them to understand? They're so good at talking, but it would be great if their actions were the same. At that moment, Zhu Shun returned from outside. Young Master Lin, something happened over at the Alliance. Zhu Shun was pumped up. Although he had turned into a pig, The news couldn't hide the excitement in his heart. Lin Fan asked, "What happened?" Zhu Shun said, "I just received news from the Alliance that Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga's cooperation with you has been found out by the Alliance. They have been treated as traitors and their titles have been taken away. This is a huge blow to the Alliance." Zhao Lishan and the others were delighted. The news that Zhu Xin brought back made them really excited. Especially Zhao Lishan. He finally understood young Master Lin's actions. So, everything was because of this. As expected, it was a good plan. What he didn't know was that the young Master Lin in front of him was also confused. Lin Fan had not expected something like this to happen. Who was it that did such a great deed? He actually conned Zhu Daoshan and the others. It had to be said, the two of them were indeed tragic. But that was good too. They could greatly weaken the Alliance's strength, but with their status, nothing would happen to them. The Alliance headquarters wouldn't be so foolish to kill the two of them. The Divinator didn't do much in Martial Path Mountain. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but that he didn't know what to do. Only the Sword Master would listen to his bragging. Zhao Lishan had always regarded him as a fraud. But all of that didn't matter. His goal for coming to Martial Path Mountain was simple, which was to happily be a salted fish, to hug sect leader Lin's leg, and enjoy the benefits of terrifying luck. At this moment, just as Lin Fan was deep in thought, Zhao Lishan praised, "Young Master Lin, your plan is too successful. You actually managed to sow discord within the Alliance. They must be really anxious now." Sword Master also praised, unwilling to be outdone. Lin Fan smiled calmly. Although he didn't think so much, looking at how excited they were, he couldn't tell them the truth and disappoint them. Anyway, that was the rough meaning. They could think whatever they wanted and praise whatever they wanted. He would just treat it as if what they said was true. "Brother Lin, look at the news. Your son is colluding with the Alliance. This news is a little explosive," Water Emperor said. This matter spread really quickly. After all, Heaven-Covering Demon Sect was a top sect in the Evil Alliance. The sect was destroyed, and naturally, it caused a huge uproar. "I believe that he definitely didn't collude with the Alliance," Lin Wani said firmly. He then looked at Water Emperor. "Stop spouting nonsense. What is there to be emotional about?" "I'm just saying," Water Emperor said. Lin Wani was in deep thought. This kid is amazing. He actually forced Zhu Daoshan and Wu Zhiga down. The Alliance is asking for trouble. "Brother Lin, the situation is changing. The four alliances and the Alliance are having internal conflicts. The Imperial Dynasty has been resting for so long, and it is time for them to make a move," Su Changsan said. The Imperial Dynasty didn't lose too many experts, and they were all waiting. The key was that without the Imperial Dynasty, it was hard to say whether or not those experts would have other thoughts. This was why until now, they didn't do anything. The key was that the princes were just too useless. None of them were willing to take on the responsibility. Prince Shao Qi seemed to have accepted the current situation and was willing to let his country be wiped out. He didn't have any thoughts of reviving the Imperial Dynasty. Water Emperor said, "I am not being sarcastic, but didn't the Divinator say that the Imperial Dynasty's luck has dissipated and there is no hope for it to recover? I think your son is a great person. Why don't you go and help him?" "Nonsense." Lin Wani stared at Water Emperor in rage. How could he not know what Water Emperor was thinking? He just wanted to push his son to the front. If he succeeded, not only would he be able to revive the Imperial Dynasty, but if he failed, the outcome would be catastrophic. As for Water Emperor, he could just leave and live in seclusion once more. Water Emperor said, "Haze, that is up to you. But what about the thing I told all of you last time? Maybe that is a chance. Don't even think about it. No one will take the risk for unknown dangers," Lin Wani said. He knew what Water Emperor was talking about. It was the seal and the existence of the Een demons. Even if Lin Wani's strength reached its peak, he definitely wouldn't take the risk. Water Emperor shook his head helplessly and muttered in his heart. This Lin Wani's brain wasn't good. His son was doing so well. If it was his son, he would bring his entire family to help without saying a word. Maybe it would really work. In the distance, Zhao Xinwang walked over and respectfully greeted the few seniors. Xianwang, is something wrong? Lin Wani asked. This was the Zhao family's genius. He turned into a dragon and was really strong. His future was limitless. Although he was weaker than them now, he might be able to exceed them in the future. Master Lin, the old ancestor, sent news to prepare to slay the dragon. Zhao Xianwang was expressionless, but his eyes were filled with shock. He didn't expect the old ancestor to do that. After all, that was the foundation of the Zhao family. Without the dragon, the Zhao family might have been able to survive for 100 years or even a few hundred years. But when the purple gold dragon essence pill totally disappeared, then the Zhao family would fall. I didn't expect the Zhao family to make such a huge sacrifice for the imperial dynasty. Lin Wani exclaimed. Zhao Xianwang said, the old ancestor said that it was a reward from the late emperor. To restore the imperial dynasty, any sacrifice is necessary. A bunch of old fellows spent so much effort to restore the imperial dynasty. Prince Shaoqi was really calm. He loved his current life where there was no fighting and no scheming. As for restoring the imperial dynasty, it wasn't that important to him. Brother. Princess Yongle walked over slowly. Shaoqi asked curiously, Sister, what is the matter? Imperial brother, can you tell me what kind of person my future husband is? Princess Yongle asked curiously. She knew her future long ago, and even her marriage was arranged. Uncle Lin took good care of them. As he was Uncle Lin's son, she didn't dislike him. But when she thought about marrying a stranger, she felt like her life was fixed. But all of that wasn't important. She wanted to know in advance. In her mind, maybe when they met in the future, it wouldn't be too awkward. Lin Fan, Prince Shaoqi raised his head and looked into the sky. His eyes were filled with memories, Marshall Path Mountain. After Lin Fan made a trip to the Alliance, he saw his growth. It was as if he had gone overseas for a vacation. Each day, rage points would come to him. It was obvious that he became famous in the Alliance. What he didn't know was that the Alliance had a fan club for him. After all, there were idiots everywhere. They looked like normal people, but once they faced something, they would become really dumb. If Lin Fan knew that he had Alliance fans, he would wipe them out. The main thing was that he couldn't afford to lose face. If he was worshipped by idiots, then wouldn't he be their leader? The rage points weren't bad, and it was necessary to raise his cultivation. Now, he had 107 Dao patterns. Compared to other people's cultivation, he was much faster. Every secret manual was improved to the extreme, which was the return to true realm. This was something that many people couldn't reach. But think about who Lin Fan was. He was a genius amongst geniuses and was known as an expert at raising cultivation techniques. If others said that he relied on the small support system, he would fall out with them. What nonsense were they saying? Improve. He consumed 10,000 rage points. With his current rage points, it was enough for him to spend them. Another 10 more Dao patterns. Now, he had 117 Dao patterns. Such a number of Dao patterns could be said to be very terrifying. But this wasn't the end. It was just a small beginning. To Lin Fan, his rich family young master life hadn't changed. Cultivation was just a small part of his life. He pushed open the door and walked out. Gozi, I am hungry. Make me a good meal. Lin Fan shouted. Gozi was on standby 24 hours a day. He was like a shadow following him. Young master, please wait. It will be ready soon. Lin Fan stretched. Even if life was too busy, it couldn't stop him from enjoying his time. He came to the back courtyard and laid on the chair. Mu Gang hurried over and gave Lin Fan a full massage. Chapter 510. Mu Gang, your skills have improved. Lin Fan praised. What he said was the truth. Compared to the first time, she had improved a lot. Mu Gang had entered her maidservant mode. Every day, she didn't just cultivate. Instead, she studied massage techniques. One could say that she learned a lot and improved quickly. In Mu Gang's words, even Brother Go would have to admit defeat. Mu Gang was praised by Young Master, and she giggled. She then said softly, Young Master, I have refined a type of oil from plants. It is really smooth, and when you rub it, it will heat up. If it is possible, I hope that you can try it. Scoff. Lin Fan found it weird. Oil? Was it an oil to open the back? This wasn't something that ancient times had. What kind of massage technique? Lin Fan's heart jumped. This question was like when he went to a massage center and asked the masseuses what kind of service they had. Naturally, he couldn't tell that there was anything different from the name. He had to ask about the specifics to see whether or not it was different from other massages. Mu Gang's face turned red, and she said softly, "Young master." Her voice became softer and softer. It was obvious that she was really embarrassed. She felt like she had to muster all the courage in her life before she dared to say it. As for this, you should practice now. Once you are familiar with it, I will let you try. Lin Fan said. He recalled. At the same time, he felt that it was a wise choice to recruit a maidservant. When he was tired, her techniques were enough to make him feel refreshed and energized. A long while passed. Gozi came to inform young master that everything was settled. But when he saw that Mu Gang purposely got close to young master and even had intimate contact with him, Gozi frowned. Who knew that Mu Gang still didn't give up and still wanted to seduce young master? It seemed like he had to tell Mu Gang to pay attention to her identity and status. If Lin Wani knew what Gozi was thinking, he would probably twist his head off and kick it like a ball. Now that things had reached such a stage, Lin Wani didn't have high expectations. As long as he could raise a decent grandson, everything was fine. Zhao family. Second Master Zhao Zhangtian and Third Master Zhao Sun, the former head of the Zhao family, were in a secret room. Their expressions were really ugly. This was especially the case for Zhao Sun. Ever since his cultivation was crippled by the old Master Lin, his heart had been burning with rage towards the old Master Lin. And now, that rage had reached its peak. The old man is muddle-headed. He actually wants to slay a dragon. He's going to destroy the foundation of the Zhao family. Zhao Sun raged and then looked towards his big brother. Big brother, we have to stop this. We can't let the Zhao family be destroyed in the hands of the imperial dynasty. Zhao Zhangtian looked at his brother. Third brother is right. The Zhao family has already paid what we owed. Now the old ancestor wants to attack our foundation. This is a huge matter. If he really slays the dragon, our Zhao family will have no future. However, third bro, you have to be careful with your words. You can't just casually talk nonsense. The patriarch is the patriarch. You can't call him old fellow. Zhao Sun was already a cripple, so why would he care about all this? Second brother, things have already reached such a state, so how can we turn back? In my opinion, we have to stop that old fellow. We can't let him drag the Zhao family into the abyss. They knew that third brother really hated the old ancestor. After all, he was once a high and mighty Dao realm expert, but now he was trash. No matter who it was, they would find it hard to accept. Zhao family head was in a tough spot, but the old ancestor has decided on something. So how can we change it? If we stop him, we won't have a good ending either. Big brother, is there no other way? Zhao Zhangtian asked. Naturally, he didn't want the old ancestor to slay the dragon. If he really did, then the Zhao family's foundation would be gone. Even if they could prosper for a few decades or a few hundred years, what would happen after that? Everyone would be wiped out. The purple gold dragon essence pill was strong, but not everyone could use it. Zhao Sun kept silent for a long while and then said a crazy idea. Big brother, second brother, I have an idea. If it works, then everything will be fine. The control of the Zhao family can even return to you. But it depends on whether or not the two of you dare to try. What idea? Zhao Zhangtian asked. We will tell the top sects of the four alliances when to slay the dragon. As they say, the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Dragon slaying isn't something that one person can do alone. Naturally, we need many peak experts. When they fight to the death, we will be able to kill them all. Zhao Sun's idea was just too crazy. When Zhao Zhangtian and Zhao family head heard this, they were stunned. Third brother, are you joking? To them, this was a devil-like idea. You must know that this is a huge matter. If we don't do it well, we will all die. Zhao family head looked at Zhao Sun and said solemnly, if that was the case, he would rather not try. It was too dangerous and there were no benefits. When that happened, would the dragon still be alive? Zhao Sun said, "Big brother, if we fail, we will just die. But if we succeed, we will return to the peak. Do you think that the old ancestor cares about us? You know about the current situation. The old ancestor slaughtered the dragon to help the imperial dynasty, but can the imperial dynasty be changed just by slaughtering the dragon? When the time comes, we will just be pushing the Zhao family into the abyss. That is too crazy," Zhao Zhangtian said. Zhao family head said, "How can we harm the old ancestor? We will die." Zhao Sun was unwilling. "Why can't we harm the old ancestor? Does the old ancestor care about us? How have I wronged the Zhao family? As for you, as the Zhao family head, you worked so hard for the Zhao family, but what happened in the end? The old ancestor removed your position and replaced you with fourth brother who only knows how to cultivate. The old ancestor has gone mad. For a destroyed imperial dynasty, he is going to push the Zhao family into the abyss. Even if we don't think for ourselves, we have to think for the juniors." Zhao family head and Zhao Zhangtian looked at one another and didn't reply right away. But this idea was just too crazy. It was so crazy that they couldn't accept it. Zhao Sun said, "Big brother, second brother, think about it. There's only one chance, and if you miss it, there won't be a next time." A few days later, that night, in a dense forest, a bunch of hot-blooded teens were in a heated discussion. They didn't gather together for certain things, but for a common dream. They wanted to assassinate Lin Fan. That was right. There was no mistake. They were really going to assassinate Lin Fan. 3 guys and 2 girls. They were all really young and were just over 20 years old. As for cultivation, it wasn't worth mentioning, and they were all really weak. But cultivation didn't matter to them at all. One of them was a poison expert. There was another who was a charm expert. They didn't know each other, but they had a common dream. To put it simply, they were a spy squad. I have investigated. This fellow is called Lin Fan, and he colluded with the Alliance to do many bad things. But his cultivation is really high, and with our strength, we don't even have the confidence to sneak attack him. The one who spoke was a young man. When he spoke about Lin Fan, he was filled with disdain. "He is just scum. He actually colluded with the Alliance. No matter what, we have to kill him." Another guy said, "Guys, this is the toughest enemy we have ever faced, but we won't fight him head-on. Instead, we have to think a way to make him take the bait and kill him at the best moment." At that moment, the girl who knew how to charm said, "Let me do it. I think that with my charm, as long as he is a guy, he will take the bait. At that time, we will poison him and wait for the poison to take effect before we attack." "Sister Lu, you are planning to use." The guy was shocked. "All right, this is the easiest and safest method. At the same time, it has the highest chance of success." At the moment, Lin Fan was doing nothing every day. He ate and did nothing. He had no goals in life and didn't even cultivate. He just passed his days like that. In one sentence, a person like you is the least worthy of a successful person. You can only daydream. At this moment, such a person who couldn't succeed was walking in the forest with his arms behind his back, breathing in the fresh air and enjoying his beautiful life. As for other things, he left them to Zhao Lishan and the others. Marshall Path Mountain's territory expanded really quickly. They took in 3 cities. He didn't have any thoughts about the cities. He just lived his life and didn't think about interfering at all. Suddenly, a sweet voice broke Lin Fan's train of thought. "Who?" Lin Fan asked. In the distance, a girl sat on the ground and held her ankle. When she saw Lin Fan, she acted pitiful. "Young master, can you help me?" The girl was really beautiful, and when she raised her hands, she gave off an aura of beauty. Others might not be able to tell, but he could. He could see through the other party from head to toe. "What happened?" Lin Fan walked over and asked. When she saw Lin Fan walk over, her heart jumped really quickly. At the same time, she found it weird. She didn't expect him to be younger than she had expected. But such a young person was actually so strong. "I twisted my ankle." The girl acted like she was in pain and needed help. Lin Fan looked at her and didn't say anything for a long time. His gaze made the girl panic, and she thought that he noticed something. But thinking about it, that was impossible. She thought that he was just charmed by her beauty. "Hey!" She sighed. Lin Fan bent down and pinched the girl's chin Kid, don't lie at such a young age. Don't come out and mess around. I don't want to stoop to your level. Go back to where you came from. Young master, what do you mean? The girl was shocked. Even now, she acted like she didn't know anything. Lin Fan was lazy to say more. He raised his hand, and the area shook. A strong suction force spread over. Screams rang out. The 3 guys and 1 girl who were hiding far away flew over uncontrollably. You fellows have no cultivation and still want to find trouble with me. Aren't you tired of living? Lin Fan shook his head. He could tell that they weren't from the Alliance and weren't sect disciples. One of the 4 climbed up and hollered, "You dog, you colluded with the Alliance to harm us. Today, we are here to claim your life." Lin Fan looked at them. His gaze was like he was looking at a retard. It made him feel helpless. Chapter 511. How sad. Lin Fan thought that only the Alliance would have retards, but these scenes made him feel that not only were there retards in the Alliance, but there were many retards on his side too. Why didn't he go out and ask around? He swept the top sects in the Alliance, so who could stop him? These small fries dared to try to assassinate him. Not only were their heads pressed down by steel plates, but they were also forced to drink rice. Look at their furious eyes. Lin Fan waved his hands. Okay, I am too lazy to waste time with you. Scram. You are so young and have no skill. You just come out to die. Haze. The 5 people who came to assassinate Lin Fan looked at him in rage. They didn't agree with his words. When one said that others were small, one should at least look at how old one was. To us, life and death are all out of our minds. The assassin didn't fear anything at all. Lin Fan looked at him. Maybe this was the worldview of retards. To them, this was a really special feeling. All of you are sick in the head. You don't know anything and just do things based on your own thoughts. If everyone was like you, the Alliance headquarters would have occupied this place long ago. But luckily, at least there is someone like me here. Lin Fan praised himself without batting an eyelid. These people's methods were just too low-end. They might have been able to deal with some weaker people, but they actually used such tricks in front of a Dao Realm expert. They were treating Dao Realm experts like humans. Putting aside Dao Realm cultivators, even Grand Dominion Realm cultivators, no, even Divinity Origin Realm cultivators would not fall for it. To the assassins, only now did they truly feel the gap between them and Lin Fan. They were just too huge. The difference was like heaven and earth. They had no way to fight back at all. They were really unwilling. Lin Fan didn't want to explain anything to them. He was too lazy to say anything more. Even if he told them, they wouldn't understand. Suddenly, Lin Fan turned his head and looked to the side. Since you are here, then come out. Stop hiding, it is so boring. Ha ha, as expected from sect leader Lin. I hid so deeply and you were still able to notice me. Respect, respect. On a branch not far away, a blackbird spoke. It turned into a human and slowly walked out. You are? Lin Fan didn't recognize him. The mysterious person said, I heard that sect leader Lin is really smart. Why not guess who I am? Lin Fan frowned. Who the hell knows who you are? You don't look like a good person. Tell me, who are you? If you don't have a convincing reason, I'm afraid you won't be able to leave today. As expected from the rumors, sect leader Lin is arrogant and arrogant. I am Beast Monster Sect Elder Gao Hong, and I want to trade with you. At the same time, I want to tell you something important. Gao Hong said, Kiki Monster Alliance's top sect, Beast Monster Sect. I have never interacted with Monster Alliance before. Lin Fan was curious. He didn't understand why the Monster League was looking for him. Didn't your Monster Alliance work together with Evil Alliance to deal with Celestial Alliance? Why do you have time to look for me? One had to say that the 4 alliances were really strong. If they could work together, they would be a really terrifying force. Even the Alliance headquarters wouldn't dare to fight against them. It was just a pity. The 4 alliances were disappointing and were unable to unite. They could only make the Alliance jump around. Gao Hong wanted to get to the main point, but when he saw the assassins, he asked curiously, Sect Leader Lin, who are they? Lin Fan didn't care. They're just a bunch of ants who came to assassinate me. Oh, these stupid ants actually dare to assassinate Sect Leader Lin. Why don't you hand them to me? These few kids can be monster bodies, and these two girls are beautiful. It is a good choice to be the mother bodies, hee. Zhou Heng's expression was calm, but his tone sent a chill down one's spine. One of the guys had already peed his pants from Zhou Heng's words. His face was ashen white, and he had no energy at all. As for the two girls, naturally, they understood what he was saying. Mother body. What else could that be? Just thinking about it was enough for them to understand. No, they definitely didn't want to become mother bodies. They knew about the existence of the Monster Alliance and what kind of sex they were. Everyone thought that the Evil Alliance was the most terrifying, but in reality, the Monster Alliance was the most terrifying. It wasn't a difference in strength. But in terms of cultivation methods, Monster Alliance was much crueler than Evil Alliance. Lin Fan looked at the five of them who peed their pants and said impatiently, "Why aren't you scramming?" The five of them who said that they weren't afraid of death in front of Lin Fan were so frightened when they heard Lin Fan's words. They crawled and rolled away without any hesitation at all. Zhou Heng squinted his eyes and smiled. "I didn't expect sect leader Lin to be so merciful, to be so generous to those who tried to assassinate you. Your sect leader has never struck out against the weak. I wonder if Elder Zhou is one of them?" He had no connection with Monster Alliance, and he had no good impression of the top sects at all. If his strength allowed it, he didn't mind uprooting them. As for now, he was just a little bit away. He didn't care at all why Lin Fan was looking for him. He hated scheming and scheming. If Cousin was by his side, then it would be great. If he faced such a thing, he could just let Cousin go, and he wouldn't have anything to do with it. Naturally, someone who can make Sect Leader Lin attack is an enemy. I'm not Sect Leader Lin's enemy, so how can I be weak? Zhou Heng smiled, but deep down he felt that this person was a little tough to deal with. There is no need to say any nonsense. You know your identity and background. I don't have any good feelings towards the so-called Four Alliances, so just say it. There's no need to beat around the bush. Lin Fan asked directly. He felt that since Lin Fan came to find him, there had to be something huge. If it was an insignificant matter, then the other party was courting death. He could let go of these five retards, but that didn't mean that he would let go of an elder from a top sect. Especially since this elder's cultivation was not bad, Dao Realm Stage 6. It was obvious that he had a high position in Beast Monster Sect, maybe just below the sect leader. With his cultivation, he could even become the sect leader of other top sections. Zhou Heng said, "Does sect leader Lin know about the Zhao family dragon?" Zhao family dragon. He knew that the main ingredient of Zhao family's purple gold dragon essence pill was dragon blood. After consuming it, there was a chance that one could turn into a dragon and bring about shocking changes. He got a purple gold dragon essence pill and gave it to Cousin. Cousin really changed, and it was really shocking. So, why did this fellow tell him about the Zhao family dragon? I know, but what does this have to do with me? Lin Fan said. He was thinking about why Lin Fan came to tell him about this. Of course, he didn't think that there was no reason. Otherwise, why would Lin Fan come find him? Zhou Heng said, "Sect leader Lin, I know that Zhao family is going to slaughter a dragon. Not only Beast Monster Sect, but all the top sects in the Four Alliances know about it. Sect leader Lin should be able to understand some things from here, right?" Scoff. When Lin Fan heard this, he was shocked. Naturally, he understood what Lin Fan was saying. Zhao family slaughtering a dragon should be a mysterious matter, and outsiders definitely wouldn't know about it. But why would Zhao family slaughter a dragon? After all, this was their family's foundation. If they killed the dragon, it would be a huge blow to Zhao family, and they might never be able to make a comeback. Thus, there was only one reason. Zhao family was slaughtering a dragon for the Imperial Dynasty. His father was definitely helping the Imperial Dynasty, so his father was definitely involved in this dragon-slaying matter. So, when the time came, his father would have to face the experts of the top sects in the Four Alliances. Even if his father was strong, he wouldn't be able to beat them. His mind was really clear, and in the blink of an eye, he understood everything. I don't understand. Elder Zhou can explain to me. Lin Fan said. If what he said was true, then the outcome would be catastrophic. Zhou Heng said, "Sect leader Lin, I won't beat around the bush with you. If you have something to say, then just say it. Zhao family is slaughtering a dragon for the imperial dynasty, and naturally, your father will join in. When the time comes, they will face the top experts of the top sects in the four alliances. Do you think your father and the others will have a chance to live? Lin Fan said, since you know about the dragon, it seems like someone from Zhao family betrayed their family and leaked the news to you. Right, there's indeed a traitor, but that isn't important. I came to find sect leader Lin to work together. If sect leader Lin is willing, Beast Monster Sect is willing to help you protect Lin Wani's life. Zhou Hong said, the top sects of the four alliances are attacking. Your Beast Monster Sect is strong, but are you confident in saving my father? Lin Fan asked. He knew that things weren't so simple. With the current situation, if he knew where Zhao family or his father was, he might be able to stop this from happening. But probably no one would tell him. Then, the way he looked at Zhou Hong changed. It was like he wanted to attack right now and capture him to interrogate him about the exact situation. It would be best if he could find out the location. Naturally, Zhou Hong could sense that sect leader Lin had evil intentions towards him, but he didn't care. Sect leader Lin, even if you capture me and interrogate me, it is useless. Only the sect leader knows the location, and on that day, he will lead me there. If sect leader Lin really wants to work together, then I hope that you will come to Beast Monster Sect in 2 days. If not, then I will treat it as you giving up. Goodbye. Zhou Hong cupped his fists and then headed into the dimension and left. He wasn't worried that sect leader Lin would stop him. That was because he believed that sect leader Lin knew the importance of this matter, unless he looked on coldly and watched as his father was surrounded and killed. Chapter 512. Martial Path Mountain. Young Master Lin, it is hard to know whether this is true or not. But no matter what, we have to treat it as true. Zhao Lishan's expression was solemn. Zhao family's dragon slaying might be fake, but it might also be true. Since the former imperial dynasty was wiped out, they basically didn't do anything. Maybe they were waiting for a chance, or maybe they were accumulating strength. Zhao family had a motive to slay the dragon. By killing the dragon and obtaining the dragon essence to raise their strength, they would have a high chance of fighting against the alliance and the four alliances. Zhu Shun couldn't sit still anymore. If that is the case, then no matter what, we can't let this happen. We have to stop it. If not, if Master Lin and the others are surrounded by the four alliances, there will only be one outcome. Divinator, do you think Lin Wani will be fine? Swordhead asked. Maybe Zhao Lishan doubted the divinator's ability, but he trusted him. The divinator said, I won't hide it from you. I have seen Lin Wani, and I saw that he would have a tribulation in his life. It seems like this is the case, and it is a death tribulation. If nothing unexpected happens, he might really die. Zhao Lishan scolded. You old man, you are spouting nonsense. Brother Lin is strong, and even several peak experts can't hurt him. How can he face a death tribulation so casually? Zhao Lishan, watch your tone. You were someone who was about to die, and if sect leader Lin hadn't extended your life, do you think you would be able to live until now? I have roamed the world for many years, and I can tell who is going to live and who is going to die. I really don't know what gives you the confidence to speak to me like that. While I became famous, you weren't even born. The divinator scolded. It was okay if it was once or twice, but this old man provoked him so many times. Who gave him the courage? He couldn't take it anymore. Swordhead acted as the mediator and told the two of them not to be rash. He really couldn't understand. Both of them were reputable people, so why would they quarrel over such a small matter? It seemed like they could even fight it out. Shut up. Master Lin is about to die, and all of you are still fighting here. I really don't know what you are thinking. Zhu Shin raged. Although his cultivation was the weakest here, he wasn't weak at all. Zhao Lishan came to his senses and felt extremely ashamed. That was indeed the case. Master Lin and the others were about to be schemed against, so what was the point of them arguing here and there? Young Master Lin, we can't wait. We have to tell Master Lin about this. Zhu Shun said anxiously. Swordhead said, I don't think that is possible. With our strength alone, it is impossible to spread this out. Beast Monster Sect dared to tell sect leader Lin about this because they aren't afraid of such a thing happening. They might not even fear it at all. They already know where the Zhao family's hidden dragon is. Naturally, they won't care whether the dragon slaying can be carried out or not. Anyway, they will all go, and the Zhao family can't just sit back and do nothing. Brother Lin will naturally go, so the result will be the same. Only now did he understand what the divinator meant by death tribulation. No matter what you did, you couldn't change the outcome. Zhao Lishan said, "Young Master Lin, since that is the case, then we can only head to Beast Monster Sect. Only by working with them will we be able to find out where the Zhao family is hiding their dragon." Swordhead said, "With my understanding of Beast Monster Sect, they aren't a good person. They're probably plotting something. It is too dangerous for young Master Lin to head there." Lin Fan was a little helpless. Such a cunning situation really gave him a headache. Who knew what these people from the top sects were thinking? Things had already reached such a stage, and they were still doing such things? It was just so pointless. Okay, I know what to do. All of you don't have to think too much about it. Lin Fan had a plan long ago. He came back to tell them about the situation and didn't have any other intentions. But seeing how enthusiastic they were, he didn't interrupt them. "Young Master Lin, are you thinking of taking responsibility alone? That is too dangerous. Let me go with you," Zhao Lishan said. How could he not know what Lin Fan was thinking? If that was the case, then he would be in danger. Lin Fan said, "No need. Let me solve this myself." He didn't want to be too direct. The main reason was that Zhao Lishan and the others were a little weak, and they would be facing peak experts from the top sects of the Four Alliances. Without the ability to fight Dao Realm Stage 7, they were all cannon fodder, and they would definitely die if they went. "Okay, take care of Martial Path Mountain. I will head out. Nine Demon, follow me." Lin Fan walked out. Nine Demon jumped onto Lin Fan's shoulder. "Young Master Lin," Zhao Lishan shouted. But Lin Fan walked really quickly, and in the blink of an eye, he disappeared. The divinator smiled. "Okay, Sect Leader Lin didn't say it so directly. With your strength, how can you help? You will just drag him down." Clang! Zhao Lishan looked at the divinator in rage. "Pull out your sword. I want to fight you." Divinator. Beast Monster Sect. Zhou Heng returned early and reported this matter to the sect leader. He was 100% sure that Lin Fan would return, as this concerned his father's life. Their Beast Monster Sect was a little bold. They wanted to get the dragon essence. Although the possibility was low, what if they succeeded? So sometimes, when it was time to try, he still had to give it a try. Lin Fan headed out from Martial Path Mountain, and his destination was Beast Monster Sect. He didn't come early, but he was prepared to ask about where Zhao family hid their dragons. As for working with Beast Monster Sect, that was impossible. He hated people who lied to one another. Why did it have to be so troublesome? The simplest way was to crush Beast Monster Sect and find out the location from the sect leader. It was simple and easy, and at the same time, he could show off his true self, which was how a man should act. Nine Demon, stop slacking. Prepare to fight. Lin Fan touched Nine Demon's head and said, "Merge." At that moment, Nine Demon merged into Lin Fan's body. At the same time, he used the bug controlling technique to control the bugs within 1,000 miles and attack Beast Monster Sect. Astronomical phenomenon. At that moment, Lin Fan's body swelled and reached 100,000 feet. There were many beasts in Beast Monster Sect, but they weren't at peace. All of them went berserk. Those scenes shocked the sect disciples, and they didn't know what was going on. But shortly after, some disciples looked into the distance and realized that a giant was walking over. They exclaimed, "Look, what is that?" All the disciples raised their heads. As Beast Monster Sect disciples, they had seen all sorts of things. However, they had never seen a giant so tall that it pierced through the clouds stepping towards the sect. How long? Along with each step the giant took, the entire sect would shake like there was an earthquake. The disciples stood rooted to the spot. All of them opened their eyes wide and looked on in disbelief. To them, they had never seen such a thing. The movement in the distance naturally attracted the attention of the higher-ups of Beast Monster Sect. Several strong auras spread out from within the sect and floated in the air. When they looked into the distance, their expressions were filled with shock. "Who are you? This is Beast Monster Sect. Why aren't you retreating?" But what welcomed him was a fist that covered the sky. The fist was really terrifying. The energy formed a storm that swept everything around. It was like a blade that sliced the dimension around. Preposterous. The person who appeared was a Beast Monster Sect elder. How could he allow someone to be arrogant in the sect? He hollered in rage and headed over. His aura shook and spread out like a ripple. The shocking aura was enough to prove that this elder wasn't a random expert, but had terrifying strength. But the moment this elder entered the range of Lin Fan's fist, his face changed drastically. How is that possible? Pung! There was a loud explosion. The elder felt an unstoppable power strike him. His body ripped apart, and he spat out fresh blood. He was smashed into the ground, and no one knew if he was dead or alive. In just one round, he was suppressed by Lin Fan. As expected, such a feeling makes me feel good. Lin Fan loved such a situation. As for those schemes, they were just too much of a headache, and there was no meaning in them at all. When the surrounding elders saw those scenes, they were astonished and panicked. They didn't expect this to happen. At the same time, they were terrified. Who was he? How was he so strong? With their strength, they weren't his match at all. Lin Fan didn't say any nonsense. He clenched his fingers and punched forwards once more. Instantly, the space shook and a visible shockwave spread out. It blew above the sect, and numerous buildings couldn't take it, shattering and exploding. Damn thing. Zhou Heng rose into the air and slapped to block the shockwave. When he saw the situation of the sect, he was filled with hatred and he hollered at Lin Fan. "Who are you?" Lin Fan smiled. "We just separated for such a short time. So how do you not know who I am?" Zhou Heng was stunned and then reacted. "It is you." He knew who it was. Wasn't this Marshall Path Mountain's sect leader Lin? Sect leader Lin, what is the meaning of this? Zhou Heng asked with a dark expression. He really didn't expect this to happen. Lin Fan actually came to Beast Monster Sect to behave so arrogantly. Don't you think about your father? He really didn't expect such a thing to happen. Even if someone told him to be careful and that there might be danger, he wouldn't believe it. He would even scoff and say that it was nonsense. How could such a thing happen? But it really happened now. He really didn't understand why Lin Fan did that. Lin Fan used the astronomical phenomenon and stood with his arms behind his back. "I am really interested in what you said, but 2 days is too long and I can't wait that long. I just want to know where the location is. If you don't want Beast Monster Sect to be wiped off the face of the earth, then I hope that all of you know your place." When Zhou Heng heard this, his face turned dark and sunken. "You're asking to die." Chapter 513. I don't know whether or not I'm asking to die, but all of you must know that if you don't speak, your Beast Monster Sect won't have a good ending. Lin Fan said calmly. To kill his way to a top sect like Beast Monster Sect alone, he was really bold. Who else could be so overbearing? I really underestimated you. Zhou Heng's expression was really ugly. He really didn't expect Lin Fan to choose such a method. He thought that to save his father, even if Lin Fan wasn't willing, he would definitely work with Beast Monster Sect. Who knew that he would choose such a method? One had to say that he was really bold and did whatever he wanted. He was even out of words and didn't know what to use to scold Lin Fan. Lin Fan said, "Stop talking so much nonsense. Where's your sect leader? Tell him to scram. With your strength, I can crush all of you with one finger. I have always been patient towards weaklings like you, but today I have no more patience." Preposterous. Zhou Heng hollered. The feeling of being looked down on made him feel really annoyed. Not only was Zhou Heng unhappy, but so were the other Beast Monster Sect disciples. They hid in a corner and looked at Lin Fan with their small eyes. They saw how arrogant Lin Fan was. They were furious, but there was nothing they could do about it. They could only provide rage points to prove that they did exist and that they were angry. Lin Fan was lazy to say any more nonsense. Time waited for no one. Elder Zhou Heng spoke too much nonsense, so why did he have to do that? He opened his fingers and each finger was like a pillar that locked down heaven and earth, covering the entire area in his palm. Zhou Heng sensed the power, and his heart jumped. Cold sweat appeared on his forehead. How could it be so terrifying? To him, the area in front of him was gray, and the power of heaven and earth was really chaotic. They clashed with one another and caused the space around to shake. I'm the strongest elder in Beast Monster Sect, so how can I be so weak? Zhou Heng hollered. The power in his body boiled, and Dao patterns wrapped around his body, turning into a sharp attack that surged towards Lin Fan. But in front of that palm, all attacks were useless. When they clashed with the palm, it was like there was a whirlpool there that absorbed all the power. Zhou Heng shouted. He felt like his body wasn't under his control, and it was tough for him to even lift a finger. He looked at the figure in the distance in horror. He had never thought that the other party's strength would be this strong. I can't accept this. Zhou Heng felt death looming over him. Perhaps he would disappear from this world in an instant. With his Dao Realm Stage 6 cultivation, one day he would be able to stand on the same level as the heavens. But now that he was going to die here, it really wasn't worth it. The palm was getting closer and closer. Zhou Heng knew that he could no longer hide. In a moment, he would become a corpse and disappear from this world. So what if Dao Realm Stage 6 had an undying body? Even the undying body would be of no use if he was directly beaten to death. Sect Leader Lin is just too much. Suddenly, a voice rang out from afar, followed by a ray of light that covered half the sky. With a flash, the hand that was about to crush Zhou Heng to death was instantly destroyed, turning into specks of starlight that disappeared from the world. You are finally willing to come out. Lin Fan stood with his arms behind his back. He was waiting for the Beast Monster sect leader. If he wanted to know the location of a Zhao clan's hidden dragon, he could only ask the other party. At this moment, a person appeared in the distance. Beast Monster sect leader Tai looked no different from a normal person, but his body contained a terrifying power. This power was violent and violent. Even a bit of it seeped out and affected the stability of heaven and earth. You are sect leader Tai? Lin Fan asked. Tai said, since sect leader Lin is here, naturally, you know who I am. Why do you have to do this? If you leave now, I can let bygones be bygones. I will treat it as you doing something unwise because you are worried about your father. Come back in 2 days, and I will naturally bring you to where the Zhao clan is hiding the dragon. Lin Fan smiled. Tell me where the Zhao clan is hiding the dragon, and I can let your beast monster sect go. Arrogant. Tai raged. He didn't expect that there would be such an arrogant person. If he hadn't personally witnessed it, he wouldn't have believed that there was such a person. Lin Fan said, there is no point in saying so much. I gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. Don't blame me in the end. Let me see how strong the Beast Monster sect leader is. The moment he said this, 2 forces capable of tearing the sky apart crashed into the world like waves. Zhou Heng, who was stuck in the middle, had an ashen white face, and he felt really bad. 2 powers that could rip him into pieces clashed with one another. It made him feel how small and weak he was. In a battle between experts, even someone at Dao Realm Stage 6 wasn't enough. At that moment, Zhou Heng was filled with anticipation towards Dao Realm Stage 7, but he didn't know whether or not he had the confidence to become one in his life. Tai waved his sleeves, and Zhou Heng sensed an unstoppable power striking him. He then left the center of the battlefield. Lin Fan took out the heaven-covering demon Sect Dao artifact. He clenched his fingers, and the power of heaven and earth gathered. Dao patterns turned into a dragon that wrapped around the arrow. This is Tai frowned. He sensed a shocking power. At the same time, he recognized that it was heaven-covering demon Sect Dao artifact. But how did Lin Fan get it? Wong. A bright light exploded from the tip of the arrow. There was even something like a star cloud spinning around it. Shoot! Lin Fan released his fingers, and the arrow turned into a streak of light that shot through the dimension and time. Kuan Peng technique. Tai hollered in rage and opened his arms. Instantly, a 10,000-foot Kuan Peng image appeared in the sky. It opened its mouth, and like a black hole, it swallowed everything around. The arrow was affected and changed its direction. It was swallowed by the Kuan Peng image. There was a loud explosion. Maybe because the Tao artifact was a little terrifying, the Kuan Peng image exploded and disappeared from the world. What lousy Tao artifact! It is just so. Lin Fan was filled with disdain. He thought that the Tao artifact would be able to kill him with one arrow, but who knew that it was just so? It wasn't worth mentioning at all. Heaven-covering demon sex Tao artifact is really amazing. It actually broke my Kuan Peng technique. Tao was really calm, and one couldn't see anything off about him. But if one looked closely, one could see the hidden fear in his eyes. Naturally, Lin Fan didn't know what Tao was thinking. Are you sure you don't want to say it? Kiki, I will only say what I know if I am willing to say it. As for your forceful request, I won't even bother. Tai was the beast monster sex sect leader and a Tao realm stage 7 expert. So how could he be threatened by others? Very good. Lin Fan nodded. Since that was the case, then there was no need to say anything more. Lin Fan didn't say any nonsense and started to attack. To find out where Zhao family hid their dragons, he used his strongest strength. How long? At that moment, lightning flashed in the sky and the space shook. There were sounds of power clashing all around. The most tragic thing was that beast monster sex buildings couldn't take such strikes. They all shattered and turned into ruins. Tragic. Zhou Heng's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. This was his sect, but it was destroyed just like that. He felt really bad and found it tough to accept such a calamity. How did this happen? Why did this happen? But the situation wasn't something he could control. 1,000 miles around were affected and the ground cracked. The cracks were like spider webs, and they covered a huge area. How long? The two of them separated. Lin Fan frowned. Tai's strength exceeded his expectations, and he was indeed really strong. It was impossible to take him down in a short period of time. But even then, so what? He had to take him down quickly. To Tai, Lin Fan's strength shocked him. He was indeed terrifying, especially since he was a dual cultivator. If he fought him head-on, he wouldn't be able to gain any advantage at all. He might even lose to him by a little. Tai looked at the situation of the sect. Although he was furious, there was no turning back now. Since things had already happened, no matter how much he regretted it, it was useless. He could only continue to fight and kill this person to make up for the losses he suffered. Peng. They are here. Lin Fan looked behind him. Numerous special Tao essence evolved bugs intersected with one another. They covered the land, and when one looked out, it was a black patch. Just looking at it like that, it looked really disgusting. Insect Valley. Tai recognized that this was Insect Valley's ability right away, but he knew that Lin Fan wasn't from them. Sect Leader Lin, you are really amazing. You actually know Insect Valley's secret skill. He was still worried about Insect Valley. Insect Valley was really mysterious and strong. Even if they sealed themselves, no one dared to underestimate them. Bug Ocean. Lin Fan was calm and allowed the evolved bugs to strike towards Beast Monster Sect. Sect Leader Lin, you're trying to wipe out my sect. Tai hollered in rage. If he didn't stop them, normal disciples wouldn't be able to block them. Was he trying to wipe out the foundations of his sect? Let me ask you, where is Zhao family's dragon hiding place? Lin Fan asked. Naturally, Tai wouldn't tell Lin Fan. Damn fellow. 10 Direction Beast Rage. At that moment, Tai hollered in rage and numerous beasts appeared. They stood on 2 legs and looked like humans. They charged towards the Bug Ocean. How long? There was a loud explosion. Lin Fan didn't move at all. He looked at the situation below. To him, this wasn't much at all. He did all that to tell him. He had many ways to wipe out Beast Monster Sect. Time passed really quickly. The sky turned dark. But the two of them continued, and there were no signs of it stopping. Tai was injured. Although it was fine with the undying body, the Tao essence in his body was being consumed quickly. On the other hand, Lin Fan was perfectly fine. It was the same as before, and he didn't consume any energy at all. The sky turned bright once more. Tai was a little anxious. He wanted to take Lin Fan down, but he didn't find a chance. Lin Fan was a little anxious, but everything was under control. He firmly believed that the outcome of the other party had already been decided, and nothing would change. Tai, your outcome is set. I will give you a chance to tell me where Zhao family's dragon hiding place is. Lin Fan asked. Don't even think about it. Tai, I had never gone through such a long battle. He wanted to end it, but Lin Fan didn't give him a chance at all. Based on normal situations, if he couldn't do anything to Lin Fan, everyone would stop here and no one would provoke anyone else. It would be best to end things like this. But he faced Lin Fan. He was a stubborn madman, a madman who would never stop until he achieved what he wanted to achieve. Okay, then I will go crazy for once. Lin Fan's eyes flashed. Since that was the case, then he would fight. He wanted to see how long Tai could last for. The second day, the battle continued. Monster Alliance experts were attracted by the commotion here. They were thinking about who was so bold to behave so arrogantly in Beast Monster Sect. However, before they could even get close, they were shaken to the core by the waves of attacks. Everywhere they looked was like hell on earth. They wanted to ask, was this still Beast Monster Sect? If someone told them that this was hell, they would believe it. The people who passed didn't dare to get close. They all retreated. This was Beast Monster Sect's matter, and what did it have to do with them? Why is this kid getting stronger and stronger? Tai shouted in his heart. He slowly felt that it was tough. Actually, it wasn't that Lin Fan was getting stronger, but that he had consumed too much Dao essence and couldn't last for a long battle. The amount of Dao essence consumed in this battle was just too terrifying. Pung! Lin Fan clenched his fingers and punched Tai's face. This fist was just as strong and terrifying as before. Tai felt his head shake and half of it exploded. Hung Long. Tai fell to the ground. Lin Fan chased. He dove down and kicked Tai's stomach. Wah! Tai bent his body and opened his mouth. Fresh blood splattered all over his face. I lost. Tai was badly injured. The blood in his body boiled and his aura was chaotic. If he made a mistake, he wouldn't have a chance anymore. Lin Fan's hands were like a pincer that grabbed Tai's wrist. He tilted his neck back and charged forwards, smashing Tai's head. Pung! His strike was like that of a comet, piercing through a terrifying shockwave. Lin Fan didn't continue to ask and just punched down. It was said that random punches could kill an old master. It was like a turtle punching a turtle as he punched Tai. Tai spat out fresh blood. With his current cultivation, his recovery speed was really quick. But the moment he recovered a little, it was broken and he suffered even more injuries. Was he going to die? No, that was impossible. He was a Dao Realm Stage 7 expert, and when he found the path to Stage 8, he would become a Stage 8 expert. How could he die here? Stop, stop. Tai hollered in rage with his last breath. He didn't want to die. Lin Fan stopped. He grabbed Tai's neck and lifted him up. His gaze was like that of a man-eating beast. Speak. Where is the Zhao family dragon hiding ground? I will speak, but you have to promise me that you can't kill me. Pung! Tai wanted to negotiate, but his stomach was punched by Lin Fan. A bloody hole appeared and blood spurted out. It was so painful that Tai nearly cried out. I will give you one last chance. Tell me where the Zhao family dragon hiding ground is. Lin Fan had lost his patience. It was already the second day, and he had a head there. Tai's face was swollen, and his eyes were so swollen that one couldn't even see his eyeballs. At that moment, Tai laughed. Kiki, if you don't agree, then I won't tell you. With your father dying with me, I have gained a lot. But remember, you won't be any better off. You have a backbone. I like people with backbone. It is okay. Even if you don't tell me, I can still think of a way. But I won't kill you. I will just trash you and chop off your limbs before tossing you to the Alliance. I think the people there will be interested in you. A top sect beast monster sect leader has become a monkey surrounded by people. Pity, disdain, I think you will like that. Lin Fan grabbed Tai's chin and smiled. But that smile looked a little evil. You dare? Tai hollered in rage. The moment he said this, Lin Fan raised his leg and with a kacha, he crushed Tai's left leg. You can try. Tai screamed and cold sweat mixed with blood flowed down his forehead. I will give you one more chance. As long as you say it, I can consider letting you live. Lin Fan said. Tai didn't say anything and just looked at Lin Fan coldly. I've roamed the world for nearly 100 years, but I've fallen in your hands. Fine, I'll tell you. I hope you can keep your promise. He really didn't want to die. Furthermore, he did not want to become the target of pity. If his cultivation was crippled, he would become a cripple. It was a fate worse than death. As for why the other party wanted to go to the Zhao family's dragon hideout to save Lin Wani, that was even more impossible. This time, there were countless peak powerhouses going to the Zhao family's dragon hideout. It was undoubtedly a fool's dream if he wanted to rescue them all by himself. He could even die there. I'll send you to your death. Sect Leader Lin, the location is... Tai didn't hide anything and told him where Zhao family hid the dragon. Only the top sect leaders knew about this location. Beast Monster Sect wanted to contact Lin Fan to work together. It was for the sake of obtaining benefits there. But he didn't expect it to be like this. It's a little far away. Lin Fan knew that place. It was quite far away from here. It seemed like he couldn't waste any more time. Tai saw that Lin Fan was silent. I've already said what I needed to say. You promised me, you punk. Tai lowered his head and looked at the arm that pierced through his heart. He looked at Lin Fan in disbelief. You didn't keep your promise. Pucci, piercing the heart wasn't enough to kill a Dao Realm Stage 7 expert. Even if he had shocking abilities, it was useless. Scoff. I'm not a fool. So how can I let you live? His hatred with Tai was too huge, and leaving him alive was just asking for trouble. He destroyed Beast Monster Sect, so how could Tai not care? Naturally, he had to take revenge. Their hatred was so great that if they really wanted to take revenge, the result would be unimaginable. It would definitely be terrifying. This was why it was better to kill him. He looked at the ruins and shook his head regretfully. What was the point? Lin Fan soared into the sky and stepped into the dimension, heading into the distance. He had to use his fastest speed to get there. He had to rush there. At this moment, Beast Monster Sect was in a terrible state. Numerous corpses were buried, and even those elders were killed by the ripples. Their deaths were just too tragic. 2 Dao Realm Stage 7 experts fought crazily for 2 days. Not to mention 2 days, even a short period of time wasn't something that other people could handle. Beast Monster Sect was in such a tragic state. From start to finish, the sect leader was the one attacking while they were the ones being beaten up. This was the first time Lin Fan was filled with killing intent. Even though he wasn't the one who killed them, it was because of him that the entire sect died a horrible death there. Dragon Island. Brother Zhao, you have to think this through. This is the foundation of your Zhao family. Lin Wani said. He respected old ancestor Zhao's decision, who knew that he would be willing to make such a huge sacrifice for the imperial dynasty. Old ancestor Zhao said, the dragon was given to us by the late emperor, so it is only right that we return it. But killing a dragon isn't a small matter. It is really strong, and with our strength, we will need to spend some effort. Lin Wani nodded. Although he hadn't come into contact with it before, he knew that it could use dragon blood to refine a terrifying pill like the purple gold dragon essence pill. That was enough to show how terrifying the dragon was. Water Emperor said, if the few of us attack together, how confident are we? Old Ancestor Zhao said, at most 60%. 60% is a little low, but no matter what, we can give it a try. Su Changsan said, all of them were Dao Realm Stage 7 experts, and they were all Peak Stage 7 experts. They were much stronger than the other Stage 7 experts. Now that they were only 60% confident in killing a dragon, that was enough to show how strong the dragon was. Even Zhao family didn't know where the dragon came from. When they found the dragon, it wasn't as strong as it was now. But at that time, it wasn't a normal dragon either. Then, should we attack now? Su Changsun asked. Wait, there is no rush. Every month, Zhao family will send meat to the dragon. I have already done something to the meat. As long as it eats it, we will be more confident. Old Ancestor Zhao said. Water Emperor said, Old Ancestor Zhao, your methods are quite amazing. The Zhao family old ancestor actually knows how to use poison. If I didn't hear it personally, I wouldn't dare to believe it. These words made people a little unhappy. Didn't he just say that his methods were a little dirty? But that was the truth. The dragon had sacrificed a lot for the Zhao family, and now they wanted to use poison to kill it. That was just too much. Within Dragon Island, Lin Wani and the others entered and realized that there was a shocking aura spreading about. It was like many mountains were pressing down on their bodies. This aura is really terrifying, Lin Wani said. He had never seen a dragon before. Even if he hadn't seen one now, the aura alone was shocking enough. If it was a normal person, they wouldn't even be able to move. This is the aura of a dragon. In the distance is its cave. Listen to my instructions and don't act rashly. Old ancestor Zhao said. The moment he stepped on a dragon island, he knew that he couldn't turn back. He gritted his teeth and could only continue. Brother Zhao, think about it. It is not too late to regret. Lin Wani said. Recovering the imperial dynasty was important, but he wasn't confident. Even if he killed the dragon, he might not be able to recover the imperial dynasty. Instead, it would cause Zhao family to lose their foundation to stand tall in the river of history. Old ancestor Zhao said, There's no need to think about it. I won't change my mind. Zhao family is indebted to the late emperor, and it is time for us to repay him. As long as we can recover the imperial dynasty, who cares about a Zhao family? Chapter 514. Lin Wani and the others stepped into the dragon's territory and heard a thunderous snoring sound. Although old ancestor Zhao was determined, when he heard the snoring sound, he struggled. It wasn't that he couldn't bear to, but that the dragon had helped the Zhao family a lot. Was that really a good thing? Kid Zhao, what are you doing here? I remember that I have given you the blood, and there's still a long time before the next time. A muffled voice came from the cave. The surrounding plants shook. It was obvious that the sound formed a shock wave, and it was quite shocking. Lin Wani and the others looked on in shock. They hadn't seen its true face, but from the aura, just now, they could sense that the dragon was really strong. No wonder old ancestor Zhao wanted to poison it. So, even he wasn't confident. Just as they were feeling shocked, they suddenly had a feeling that some unknown existence in the cave had opened its eyes, and a terrifying aura spread out. Shortly after, there was movement in the cave. A giant dragon head appeared from the dark cave. Its thick body curled and rose into the air. The scales on its body were huge and gave off a bright glow. At the same time, there were mysterious patterns on its horns. It looked really majestic and really threatening. This is a dragon, Lin Wani exclaimed. It was rare to see one in his life, and now that old ancestor Zhao led him over, it felt really good. There are also a few strangers. My existence is a secret. I didn't expect that you would bring people over to see me. The dragon said. Two long feelers reached into the air like they were absorbing power. Old ancestor Zhao was a little embarrassed. He probably felt guilty and knew what was going to happen next, so he didn't dare to face him. Dragon King, I came here to thank you for everything you have done for the Zhao family. Old ancestor Zhao knelt on the ground and lowered his head to kowtow to the dragon. Without the Dragon King, the Zhao family wouldn't be as glorious as it was today. Other people could choose not to acknowledge it, but as the Zhao family old ancestor, he had to. Who? The dragon spat out a mouthful of air and looked at old ancestor Zhao with its lantern-like eyes. The food you sent today tastes good. I like it, but I won't be able to eat it in the future. Old ancestor Zhao was stunned, and he looked at the Dragon King in disbelief. The meaning of those words, one didn't need to think to understand. He already knew. Dragon King, your words. Old ancestor Zhao found it hard to say. Naturally, he felt guilty. He wanted to say that Dragon King was thinking too much, but at such a time, there was no point in lying. The horned dragon curled up its body. Looks like these are the helpers that Brat Zhao found to send this old dragon on his way. They're indeed very strong, making this old dragon feel pressured. Old ancestor Zhao said bitterly, Please forgive me. I have my reasons. Since you know that I wanted to kill you, then why did you eat the meat? The horned dragon smiled and said, Brad Zhao, you didn't explicitly say that you wanted to harm this old dragon, so I naturally have to accept your offerings. All right, the last meal is finished. You've taken good care of Old Dragon. It's naturally not a problem if you need blood. However, if you want Old Dragon's life, that will depend on your abilities. Don't worry. If Old Dragon doesn't die, the Zhao family will be fine. Lin Wani felt that this dragon was not ordinary. Brother Zhao, why don't we just let it go? Old ancestor Zhao didn't reply to Lin Wani and just cupped his fists. Dragon King, sorry for offending you. In an instant, a dragon's roar resounded throughout the world. Shortly after, the 4 Dao Realm stage, 7 experts attacked at the same time. Anyone who faced such a terrifying attack would have been turned to dust. But this horned dragon wasn't afraid at all. Even though it was 1 against 4, it was still able to do so with ease. At that moment, the sky was covered in dark clouds. Thick bolts of lightning slithered in the sky like pythons. Rain fell, and in the blink of an eye, an ocean formed below. There is something wrong with the rain, Lin Wani said. When he felt the raindrops land on his body, he realized that his body had become much heavier. He looked at the dragon solemnly. As expected, it was amazing. It had many methods. If he fought alone, he might not have been its match. This was the first time Lin Wani felt like he couldn't suppress someone. Suddenly, an intense explosion spread out. Looking closely, it was the horned dragon waving its tail. The giant tail was terrifyingly strong and caused the space around to explode. One tail strike was able to stir up the wind and clouds. It was really terrifying. Lin Wani didn't dodge. He wanted to test how strong he was. At that moment, the giant tail swept in front of him. It was so quick that even a Dao Realm Stage 6 expert might not be able to react. Pung! There was a deafening explosion. The space was like a mirror that started to shatter. At the same time, a strong shockwave spread out. Water Emperor frowned. What was going on? Was Lin Wani slacking off? In the distance, Lin Wani appeared. His body seemed to be steaming with sweat, and white smoke rose from his body. He had used both hands to block, and he felt a world-destroying power surging towards him. His entire body was sent into an unknown dimension. Till now, his arms were trembling. This was unbelievable to Lin Wani. He had never experienced such a situation before. Was this the 60% confidence that Brother Zhao mentioned? As expected, it was just an exaggeration. 60%? It felt dangerous. Moreover, the dragon ate poisonous meat. What would happen if it was at its peak? The battle continued. Lin Wani didn't dare to be careless and used his true strength to fight against the dragon. During this period, Su Changsun suffered from the tail strike and was smacked deep into the ground. When he climbed up, he was in a haggard state and his body was covered in injuries. If he wasn't well prepared, that attack just now was enough to take away half his life. So at such a moment, no one dared to be careless. They knew what they were facing. That was a really terrifying existence. Someone would die. Be careful. Don't be careless. Su Changsun reminded. They wanted to curse. Old man Su, you are already old. I purposely took it head on because I have confidence. What do you have? Lin Wani didn't give him any face at all. Su Changsun was so angry that his beard was about to fly up. He cursed in his heart. He had already sent his daughter over, and you were still like this. What he was doing was selling his daughter for respect. In the distance, in a hidden area, the 3 old masters of Zhao family hid and looked on. This dragon is too stupid. I told him that the meat was poisonous, and he still ate it. There's a hole in his brain. Zhao Sun cursed. He really didn't expect this to happen. When he learned that the old ancestor wanted to poison the dragon, he sent people to inform him. He thought that the dragon wouldn't eat meat, but he still ate it. Zhao family head said, I didn't expect our Zhao family dragon to be so strong. Although he was once the family head and knew that the dragon was strong, he didn't expect it to be so strong. It was really unbelievable. Now, he was facing 4 peak Dao Realm Stage 7 experts. Who in the world could withstand the attacks of these 4 experts? Even if one searched the entire world, they wouldn't be able to find one. He agreed with Zhao Sun's words. That was indeed the case. If the dragon didn't eat the meat, how terrifying would he be at his peak? When will the experts from the four alliances come? Zhao Zhangtian said. He leaked the location of this place just in case. The main reason was that Lin Wani made them afraid. If the four of them killed the dragon with just a little effort, and they were fine, then all their efforts would have been for nothing. This was why they contacted the people from the four alliances to deal the final blow to them. As for whether or not the dragon would be split up by the four alliances, that wasn't the main point. Their goal was simple, to control the Zhao family. Zhao family head said, "Be careful. Maybe they're already here and are just hiding in the dark like us. After all, it is the easiest to reap the benefits." Zhao Sun's cultivation was trashed, and he couldn't sense anything wrong with the space around him. However, he still carefully looked around, hoping to find some clues. As time went on, the battle slowly came to an end. Lin Wani and the other three were injured, and their injuries weren't light. Old Ancestor Zhao and Su Changxin's injuries were the worst. Their bodies seemed to be on the verge of exploding. The dragon was in a bad state, and its body was covered in holes. Dragon blood flowed to the ground like a river and dyed the surrounding ocean red. Many fish accidentally ate the dragon blood and couldn't take the terrifying power, so they exploded. Kid Zhao, you are amazing, and so are your companions. It seems like I'm going to die here today, but I have to remind you to be careful of the people around. They have been hiding in the void for a long time. All of you come out. The horned dragon roared and whipped its huge tail at the void. Everywhere it passed, the void cracked and many silhouettes were blasted out. Amazing, amazing. As expected, Zhao family's dragon hiding place is not normal. This dragon is really terrifying, and even Lin Wani can't take it down. When old ancestor Zhao saw this, he was stunned. How did this happen? He found it hard to imagine what was going on. How did the Zhao family dragon hiding place leak out? Where did these people come from? It seems like someone from Zhao family betrayed us. Lin Wani said. Impossible. Why would our Zhao family have such a traitor? Old ancestor Zhao denied right away. He didn't even think and believe that there was no traitor in the Zhao family. Suddenly, there were shouts in the distance. Old ancestor, save me. Zhao Sun was terrified. The shockwave shook them out. Big brother and the second brother ran too quickly, and he was trash. So how could he run? His current position was really awkward. Someone noticed him, and when he saw him attack, he screamed in fear. Old ancestor Zhao was shocked. He didn't hesitate and turned into a streak of light to appear in front of Zhao Sun. He slapped and forced him back. Why are you here? Old ancestor Zhao scolded in rage. Zhao Sun wanted to say something, but old ancestor Zhao didn't care. He looked at the people in the distance. How did all of you know about the dragon hiding place? But the moment he said this, there was a poochie. Old ancestor Zhao's expression changed, and he frowned. He touched his back, and the pain was unbearable. He turned around and retreated a few steps. He looked at Zhao Sun in disbelief. You. Zhao Sun opened his hands and retreated. He then hollered, "You old thing, you actually treated me like this. What did I do wrong? I did this for the Zhao family. You trashed my cultivation for the already destroyed imperial dynasty. Do you even treat me as a family member? Stop thinking about it. This is a Dao artifact, and I smeared poison on it. Old thing, you are dead." Old ancestor Zhao didn't expect this to happen. He was disappointed and raged. "You told the outsiders the location." Zhao Sun laughed. "Right, it was me. Do you know the consequences of trashing me? Let me tell you, I am not someone you can offend." At that moment, Zhao family head and Zhao Zhangtian came out. Old ancestor. Zhao family head walked beside old ancestor. Zhao Zhangtian slapped Zhao Sun to the ground. "You actually betrayed Zhao family and sneak attacked old ancestor. I will beat you to death." Zhangtian stopped. Old ancestor Zhao reached out and stopped Zhao Zhangtian. But just at that moment, there was a pong. Zhao family head's palm struck old ancestor's back and pierced through his body. At the same time, he didn't hold back and attacked several times. Old ancestor Zhao was already badly injured, and now that he suffered such a heavy blow, he obviously couldn't take it anymore. He flew backward right away. Old ancestor, you are the one who forced us to such a stage. You asked for it. Zhao family head raged and then looked at the people in the air. Now is the best time to kill them. From now on, Zhao family can refine purple gold dragon essence pills for all of you to help you climb to Dao Realm Stage 8. In the distance, old ancestor Zhao's pupils dilated and he was on the verge of death. Till now, he didn't understand why they did that. Old Zhao, are you okay? Water Emperor walked forwards and checked on old ancestor Zhao's situation. He frowned. He was in danger. He took out pills for him to consume, but that was just temporary. Old Master Dragon, can you stop and face these enemies together? Lin Wani said. If Lin Fan knew that his father called him Old Master Dragon, he would have said, Father, you look so beautiful when you are terrified. Chapter 5:15. If 4 or 5 of these top sect leaders came, he wouldn't care at all. But there were far more than 4 or 5 of them. He was wondering whether or not all the top sect leaders were here. How was he going to fight this battle? Even if he pulled the dragon in, it wouldn't be enough. The dragon said, life and death are decided by fate. The death energy on your bodies is really thick, and maybe today will be the day we die. Struggling is just useless. Even then, we can't just sit here and do nothing. Lin Wani said. He seemed to understand what the dragon was saying. It seemed to be saying that the result would be the same anyway, so why resist? Wouldn't it be better to enjoy it quietly? He definitely couldn't accept such a mentality of giving up on saving others. He had no ambition at all. The dragon coiled its body, and its huge head came in front of old ancestor Zhao. Its eyes gave off a loving and reminiscing light. Little Zhao, it's been a very, very long time since we first met. At that time, you didn't have the achievements you have now. In the blink of an eye, you've grown old. I once told you that you're very stupid and not smart, but you're very stubborn. Old ancestor Zhao, who was laying there, spat out fresh blood. He was a Dao Realm Stage 7 expert. Even if he was badly injured, he couldn't die from a sneak attack. But old ancestor Zhao was really sneak attacked. Moreover, he was sneak attacked twice, and the person who did it was his family. Till now, old ancestor Zhao still couldn't understand why. Why did all of this happen? His emotionless eyes stared into the dragons. It was like he had returned to when he was young. His father brought him to Dragon Island to meet the Dragon King. At the same time, he spent some time with the Dragon King. During that period of time, he recalled all the things that happened between him and the Dragon King. To him, the Dragon King was a mountain that he couldn't climb. In the eyes of the Dragon King, he was just a small ant. Kid, your talent is really bad. I want to become the strongest person in the Zhao family. Even if my talent is bad, I will use hard work to make up for it. Is that so? I'm looking forward to that day. What is this? This is my treasure, and I won't give it to others. Use it. I think that with your talent and hard work, you will become the strongest person in your heart. Old ancestor Zhao felt like everything around was about to shatter. Am I going to die? He actually recalled what had happened in the past. It was just that he thought of it. Everything he had now was largely due to the help of the Dragon King. The thing he had consumed was none other than the dragon essence of the Dragon King. He had consumed the dragon essence. Only by changing his talent would he be able to become the strongest expert in the Zhao family and reach Dao Realm Stage 7. What stupid thing am I doing? Old ancestor Zhao muttered to himself. Even he realized. The Dragon King was like an old father to him, but he joined forces with others to kill the Dragon King, just for an uncertain matter. At this moment at the venue, Zhao Sun roared like a madman. What are you hesitating for? Now is the best time to kill them. Also, that dragon, the reason why my Zhao family is able to have our current status is all because of that dragon. Zhao family can refine purple gold dragon essence pills for you. Do you know what the purple gold dragon essence pill is? That is a divine pill that could defy the heavens and change one's fate. The sect leaders who came were all pumped up. Naturally, They knew what the purple gold dragon essence pill was. Zhao family wasn't strong, but naturally they were strong. The reason why they were so strong was because of that pill. Lin Wani was really anxious. What was going on with the dragon? He had already explained it so clearly. So why didn't it have any thoughts? If they worked together to fight the enemy, they might have a chance of surviving. But looking at the situation, the dragon obviously didn't want to bother about him. Then, Lin Wani looked at the people in the air. Do you really want to surround and kill us? You should think this through. With our strength, if you can't kill us all, then there will come a day when you will pay an extremely terrible price. He wasn't trying to scare them. If a Dao Realm Stage 7 expert really went crazy and took revenge, that wasn't something that anyone could handle. Even the top sects were the same. Ha ha, Lin Wani, stop scaring us here. Do you think that you can escape with your current situation? The one who spoke was Evil Alliance, Blazing Sun sect leader Flame, Demon Old Ancestor. His fire-like hair floated in the air, and the surrounding space became really hot. He was really strong, but compared to Lin Wani and the others, he was much weaker. Flame Demon Old Ancestor, as long as I escape, I will wipe out your Blazing Sun sect first. Lin Wani hollered in rage. Flame Demon Old Ancestor and Lin Wani looked at one another. He panicked deep down, but he acted calm and said in disdain, "Who are you trying to scare? Let's talk about it, if we can escape." The person he hated the most was Lin Wani. This fellow was younger than them, but he was stronger than them. He was also overbearing, and when he wasn't defending Yu City, many sects suffered from Lin Wani. In fact, many people from the same generation as Lin Wani had already become elders, and some had even become sect masters. But he could ask them whether or not they hated him when they were young. They would probably all say in unison that the thief was Lin Wani. When Lin Wani was young, he had formed a team with Old Wu and led a bunch of country bumpkins to humiliate them many times. Just thinking about it was enough to infuriate both humans and gods, and they wanted to use a bolt of lightning to kill this bastard. After all of you found out that you had a chance to kill me, you all rushed over. It is my honor. I didn't expect me to be so important to all of you. Instantly, Lin Wani's gaze turned sharp. But please remember, if you want to kill me, I'm afraid some sect leaders will have to die here. I wonder if anyone is willing to do so. His words stunned all the sect leaders and sect leaders. That wasn't nonsense, and it was the truth. They wanted to kill Lin Wani, but they knew that Lin Wani was strong. Even if there were so many of them, some of them would die. They were all sect leaders, so who was willing to die for nothing and let others take advantage of them? Lin Wani, you are about to die, and you still want to cause trouble. Who are you trying to scare? Do you think that with just a few of you, you can cause any waves? Remember this. Many of you came here because of your son. Evil Spirit Old Ancestor, your blood lotus was snatched by that kid. If you take Lin Wani's head and show it to that kid, he will regret it. The Old Ancestor looked towards Evil Spirit Old Ancestor and said, Evil Spirit Old Ancestor was stunned. He cursed in his heart. Why did you have a talk about me? For no reason. These were all sad past events, and he wanted to forget about it. Who knew that someone would actually bring it up? He was fantasizing about carrying Lin Wani's head to find Lin Fan. It felt good, but he didn't dare to. He really didn't dare to. Others might not know how strong Lin Fan was, but he knew it clearly. Was it something that an ordinary person could have? The Old Ancestor didn't stop and continued. Heaven covering Old Demon, you probably think the same way, right? After all, that kid worked with Alliance experts to do unforgivable things to Heaven covering Demon Sect. It wasn't a secret that Heaven covering Demon Sect was destroyed by Lin Fan and the Alliance experts. But now that the other party had set it out so brazenly, Heaven covering Old Demon was extremely displeased. His gaze towards Lin Fan was a little off. Ha ha ha, Lin Wani laughed. I didn't expect my son to be so amazing. If you didn't tell me, I wouldn't have known. But remember, although I might die today, my son will take revenge for me. Just wait and see. Evil Alliance, Monster Alliance, Buddha Alliance, and Celestial Alliance were all here. When they met, there was no conflict. Their goal was simple, which was to kill Lin Wani and the others. He's about to die, and he still dares to be so arrogant. Don't give him a chance to recover. Attack together and kill them. Some people were indeed panicking, but at this moment, there was no point in talking. They had to take action as soon as possible. That was the real deal. Su Chang-san, take care of old ancestor Zhao, Water Emperor, and I will open a path for all of you. Lin Wani said. Water Emperor said, Brother Lin, I want to flee. Nonsense. You won't be able to run. Lin Wani stared. Water Emperor wasn't serious at all. He was dreaming if he wanted to flee now. Also, old ancestor Zhao at least gave him an answer. Although they wanted to kill him, old ancestor Zhao was the one who suggested it. He tried to persuade him, so he couldn't be so petty. To Lin Wani, if that dragon was willing to work with him, along with Water Emperor's strength, they had a 10% chance of escaping. But it was only 10%. But even then, it was worth it. If not, they would definitely die. Just at that moment, an unexpected voice spread from the distance. Is it really okay for all of you to surround my father? When they heard that voice, their hearts shook. They looked into the distance and didn't know who it was. But when they heard that voice, their hearts shook like they thought about someone. The dimension ripped open. A person slowly walked out from the dimension. Lin Fan. Lin Fan. Many sects recognized who it was, especially heaven-covering old demon. His eyes shone red, and he wanted to rip Lin Fan into pieces. On the contrary, evil spirit old ancestor was a little afraid. He was really afraid. He understood his own strength and knew how big the gap between them was. Unfilial kid, why did you come? When Lin Wani saw that it was his son, he was really anxious. He didn't want to see Lin Fan come here. Lin Fan smiled. Father, I'm so amazing now, so why do you still call me that? But I haven't heard you call me that in a long time. I really miss it. He walked over slowly. No one stopped him, and no one attacked to kill him. Lin Fan and the Alliance 9-star generals dealing with heaven-covering demon sect left a deep impression on them, which was why they were a little afraid. You. Lin Wani was so infuriated by Lin Fan's words that he didn't know what to say. Didn't he look at the situation? He dared to come alone. He was just asking to die, but he felt really happy. Fan was worried about his safety and didn't care about his own safety to come over. Looking at old ancestor Zhao, he was betrayed by 3 of his family members right away. This was the gap between people, and there was no way to compare. Father, have a good rest. Leave the rest to me. Lin Fan said, but when he looked at the dragon, he was stunned. The dragon looked really familiar. It didn't look like a lizard dragon with a huge stomach, but a true god dragon. Who knew that such a thing actually existed? But all of that wasn't important now. There were more important things to do. Lin Fan looked into the sky and said without any fear, what is the meaning of the 4 alliances? Are you bullying me because I am old? If you have any problems, then come at me. Do you know how I came here? I went to Beast Monster Sect to ask for the location, and they didn't want to tell me. Then, I had no choice but to wipe them out and ask for the location. In terms of causing trouble, I am not weaker than all of you. If a normal person faced such a situation, they would be so terrified that they wouldn't even be able to say a word. After all, they were facing the elders of the top sects of the 4 alliances. How could they go up against them so easily? Lin Fan, you're just one person and you dare to be so arrogant? Someone couldn't take Lin Fan's arrogance and scolded him. Didn't he look at the current situation? He dared to be so arrogant and didn't care about them at all. Lin Fan looked at that person and laughed in disdain. I'm arrogant? If you have balls, then come at me. Let me tell you, you are the one who shouted the most but didn't dare to attack. Other people might not know what you are thinking, but I do. You just want others to die so that you can reap the benefits. Shut up. You want to say that I'm talking nonsense, right? Okay, then attack. Let's see how determined you are. His words were really sharp, and he killed people without seeing blood. The person who shouted the most did have such thoughts. Now that Lin Fan said it out loud, he felt really bad. Damn, how could it be so much? Especially when he noticed their suspicious and weird gazes. He raised his head and retorted unwillingly. What is the meaning of this? I am not such a person. But everyone looked at him with shining eyes. What they meant was that he was indeed such a person. Stop pretending. They saw through it. Guys, don't be distracted by his words. He is purposely delaying time, and he definitely has a plan. Let's attack together and kill them. Someone suggested and even encouraged everyone to attack. There was no need to hesitate. If this continued, then they wouldn't be able to do anything. Lin Fan laughed coldly. Interesting, you're not bad. But don't worry, if you have balls, then attack. My father and I will stare at you, and we will definitely kill you before you are killed by others. All right, I forgot to tell all of you something. Before I came here, I informed the Alliance headquarters about your actions. I think all of your sects have no leader and no peak combat strength. The Alliance can just casually send out one of their strongest 9-star generals, and they will be able to wipe out your sections. Even if you kill us, when you return, you will only have a ruined sect waiting for you. When Lin Fan said these words, everyone was stunned. The situation changed. There was an uproar in the crowd. Impossible. Do you think that the Alliance is your home and you can say whatever you want? The sect leader hollered in rage. Lin Fan smiled. Heaven-covering old demon, don't look at me with such a furious gaze. Tell them who destroyed your heaven-covering demon sect. At that moment, someone reacted. Wasn't Lin Fan and the strongest 9-star generals the one who destroyed heaven-covering demon sect? To be able to make the strongest 9-star generals of the Alliance attack wasn't something that could be achieved just by talking about conditions. When they thought about how their sect didn't have a peak expert, they were terrified. They didn't know whether or not Lin Fan was speaking the truth. But if it was true, then the outcome would be catastrophic. The strongest 9-star generals were all Dao Realm Stage 7, and the sects didn't have such experts. There was only one outcome, which was to be suppressed by the Alliance. Instantly, everyone panicked. Some people wanted to head back to check on the situation. Just as Lin Fan had expected, the key was that the people who came were from the 4 alliances. There was no trust between them at all. Some of them doubted one another and even wanted to stab one another. Water Emperor said, "Brother Lin, I told you that it is better to follow your son than the Imperial Dynasty. Look at this. Even I am afraid, but your son isn't afraid at all. I really respect his courage." Lin Wani felt much better. Naturally, he was in a good mood when people praised his son, but he waved his hands. This unfilial kid doesn't know his place. If only he was 30% as smart as me. Water Emperor squinted his eyes and felt like that was enough. This old fellow was addicted to acting. Just at that moment, heaven-covering old demon stepped out and raged. Don't be tricked by this kid. Did you not hear about the Alliance's situation? The 2 strongest 9-star generals have been captured. So why would the Alliance work with him? Since all of you don't dare to attack, then I will open a path for all of you. Lin Fan frowned. He forgot that heaven-covering old demon hated him so much. Now that there was such a good chance, if others were willing to give up, then how would he give up? As expected, his words were useful and they really stabilized the hesitant people. If heaven-covering old demon attacked first, they would be willing to try. Damn, sh*t stick. Lin Fan cursed. These sect leaders were just a bunch of sh*t. Who knew that heaven-covering old demon was willing to be a sh*t stick? He stirred up a huge pile of sh*t, and it gave off an even thicker stench. It seemed like this battle was unavoidable. "Father, what is going on with that dragon?" Lin Fan asked. Lin Wani said, "Don't count on it." Thinking about it, they were prepared to kill it, and now they wanted it to work with them. Unless there was something wrong with their brains, they wouldn't agree. But to Lin Fan, he could give it a try. Bug controlling technique could control numerous bugs, but there were many different types of bugs. He was a learned person. There were 5 types of bugs. Ho, scale, hair, feather, coin. That dragon should be one of them. Scoff. He wasn't afraid that one's cultivation was strong. He was afraid that they were cultured. He was such a person. At that moment, the special Dao essence of the bug controlling technique spread out and targeted the dragon. The dragon and old ancestor, Zhao, looked at one another. The exchange of gazes revealed many secrets that no one knew about. Such an emotional exchange shouldn't be interrupted. But suddenly, the situation wasn't right. The dragon's expression changed. At the same time, its body underwent a shocking change. Its scales turned black, and its eyes gave off a black mist. Its body swelled, and a terrifying aura spread out. Terrifying. Lin Fan was shocked. He didn't know the dragon, so naturally, it was impossible for him to use it. He could only use the bug controlling technique to control it. But to control anything, one needed to consume Dao essence. When he was controlling the dragon, he realized that the amount of Dao essence he needed was just too terrifying. Not to mention each second, but each millisecond required all the Dao essence he had at Dao Realm Stage 7. The consumption was just terrifying. Who in the world could support it? Even if Insect Valley peak experts came, if they dared to control it, their Dao essence would be sucked dry. But what a waste. Lin Fan was someone who had a small support system. He wasn't someone who liked to show off. Or rather, he was low profile. But sometimes, he couldn't be low profile even if he wanted to. Kid. Heaven covering old demon attacked. As long as he dared to attack, then things would become much simpler. To heaven covering old demon, he knew what he was going to face next. He was going to face the attacks of the father and son. But he knew that as long as he could hold on until everyone attacked, then everything wouldn't be a problem. No matter how strong they were, they would definitely die here. Old man, if you touch my son, I will kill you. How could Lin Wani let his son be in danger? But suddenly, there was a pong. The scene in front of them left everyone dumbfounded. Lin Fan stood on the spot and didn't move. But heaven covering old demon was smacked into the distance by some terrifying power. Amazing, Lin Fan exclaimed. He didn't expect the dragon to be so strong. Just one whip of its tail could cause such a terrifying aura. It was just so shocking. At that moment, everyone realized that the one who attacked wasn't Lin Wani or Lin Fan, but the dragon that they had ignored. Is my face so worthless? Lin Wani was a little unwilling. He invited the dragon to attack, but what awaited him was disregard. He wanted to tell him that even without him, he could still fight 300 rounds with him. But now, this dragon actually attacked for his son. This was something that he didn't expect. Wait, Lin Wani realized that the dragon was a little off. Before this, it was covered in wounds, but now, there was nothing wrong with it. The key was that the color of its scales changed. He thought about a possibility. It should be the bug controlling technique. He felt that it was unbelievable. This dragon wasn't weak, it was stronger than all of them. To use the bug controlling technique to control this dragon was a dream. It was just impossible. How did Fanner do it? It was a little terrifying. Chapter 516. Their mouths were agape. The experts who were waiting for heaven covering old demon to attack were all stunned. What kind of joke was that? He didn't even touch Lin Fan and was smacked away. He even said that he was going to open up a path for them. Open up your head. He had no ability at all and was just bragging. The current situation had also taught them a lesson. As expected, that dragon was really strong. They knew that heaven covering old demon was really strong. But now he was actually badly injured by a tail. That was a little terrifying. Although it was a sneak attack, that wasn't important anymore. Heaven covering old demon. Since you're old, you should take care of yourself. Don't come out all day. The world belongs to the young. Apart from being old, what else can you do? Lin Fan's words were too offensive, and he didn't care about them at all. To all of the powerful beings present, the words that Lin Fan had just said were extremely shameful. The world of the young? Scram. Only the bunch of old people could fight Lin Fan. As for the young, why not just let them be cannon fodder? Times were changing. Originally, only the elderly could have such a conflict, but now a young man had joined in and even caused them to suffer a great loss. All of you have seen the situation. All of you know the situation. He can't be left alive, and today is your chance. Do you want to miss this chance and let him take you down one by one? Flame Demon Old Ancestor jumped out once more. His words made sense, and he hoped that everyone could understand the situation. If they didn't do anything, Mo Etienne would regret it in the future. Flame demon old ancestor is right. We have to kill them. The four alliances should put down their grievances and kill them. Maybe because Lin Fan was too overbearing, all the sect leaders were furious. They really put down the conflict between the four alliances and worked together to kill Lin Fan and the others. Lin Fan was really calm. It seemed like a battle was unavoidable. But all of that wasn't important anymore. Even if it was tough, he didn't fear anything. 9 Demon, be good. You will always be my favorite. Lin Fan sensed that 9 Demon didn't like the dragon. It was obvious that it felt like its position was being challenged. After Lin Fan consoled it, it became really obedient. Merge. The horned dragon turned into a beam of light and was sucked into Lin Fan's body. This kind of operation was really domineering. Controlling was one thing, but fusing was another. If there were people from Insect Valley here, they would be so terrified that they would pee their pants when they saw those scenes. With the small support system, Lin Fan was overpowered. Tao essence was limitless and could be consumed at will. There was no end to it. A blinding light covered Lin Fan. Everyone was shocked, not knowing what was going on. Immediately after, a terrifying energy burst out and filled the surroundings. What's going on? I can sense an extremely terrifying power brewing. They didn't know what had happened, but the fear in their hearts wouldn't deceive them. There was an astonishing power brewing under that light. Although they couldn't see it clearly, it was definitely terrifying. Some people frowned, feeling that this was a bit dangerous. Perhaps retreating was the wisest choice. Lin Wani was really worried, and his palms were sweaty. He was worried about his son. He should have enjoyed his life, but he didn't expect that he would have to face such difficulties. This was a failure of a father to let his son live a carefree life that no one dared to offend. This was his failure as a father. Rumble. Instantly, the light that was wrapping around Lin Fan exploded as a beam of light shot up into the sky, blasting the clouds apart. Slowly, the light dissipated. Lin Fan wasn't in a good state. His body was covered in blood, and there were many wounds on his skin. Ha! He failed. This kid is asking for trouble. He can't handle that power at all. Everyone was delighted. They thought that something shocking would happen. But who knew that this would happen? Fanner, what happened to you? Lin Wani was worried. He could tell that Fanner couldn't handle the power, causing his body to crack. If this continued, the outcome would be catastrophic. Lin Fan raised his hand. Father, I am fine. Don't worry. Lin Fan was clearer than anyone else about the current situation. Just as they said, the power was too explosive. His body couldn't handle it at all, and the power was about to seep out. He didn't expect that after merging with the dragon, this would actually happen. It was too terrifying. What are you all laughing at? What is so funny? Lin Fan raised his head and looked at them coldly. He chanted to recover. The blood demon reversal technique was enough to recover all injuries. He had already cultivated to stage 4, which was the highest realm. No one in the world could do what he did. Even if Xiao Sect cultivated the blood demon reversal technique, they wouldn't be able to compare to Lin Fan. At that moment, Lin Fan's injuries were all healed. When the gloating people saw this, they were stunned and didn't understand what was going on. Gotcha. Shortly after, Lin Fan's body broke apart once more and fresh blood flowed out. This thing, Lin Fan frowned. He didn't expect it to be so violent. Even if he used the blood demon reversal technique, it was useless. In the blink of an eye, he became like this once more. Forget it, he didn't care. There was no point in paying attention to all this. He could only fight him head on. As for the outcome, it wasn't important anymore. Father, pay attention. I am attacking first. The moment he said this, Lin Fan dashed towards the crowd, and his target was the flame demon old ancestor. This old man was a cunning person and tried to sow discord. Naturally, there was no need to give him chance. Prepare to die, Lin Fan hollered in rage. His aura was so terrifying that everyone was astonished. But this shock only lasted for a short period of time. Which one of them was a coward? All of them walked step by step from a pile of corpses to where they were today. Kill. How long? Heaven and earth shook. Lin Fan's attack contained a dragon aura. Water Emperor, follow me. Su Chang's son, take care of old ancestor Zhao. We have a higher chance of winning this battle. Lin Wani said, Ha ha, good. Since that is the case, then I shall go crazy. Whether I live or die will be decided by the heavens. If you let me live, I will definitely thank you in the future. Water Emperor laughed, and his heart burned. He had already thought about it. As long as he could live, he would say goodbye to Lin Wani. He was going to follow his son. As for him, he could just go and do whatever he wanted. The current situation was really bad for Flame Demon Old Ancestor. Kid, why do you have to stare at me? Flame Demon Old Ancestor was under huge pressure. He thought that with more people, he would be fine. But who knew that things weren't what he thought? Lin Fan was like a mad dog that bit him. He didn't care about the attacks of the people around. Because you are too arrogant. Lin Fan used the Blood Demon Reversal technique while hitting Flame Demon Old Ancestor. He could only temporarily maintain the body fusion. As for the other peak experts, they found it hard to believe that Lin Fan was so strong. Their group attacks weren't able to take him down, and he even had the ability to suppress Flame Demon Old Ancestor. One had to say that this was really terrifying. There was a scream. Flame Demon Old Ancestor's chest exploded from Lin Fan's fist. One could see his white bones and fresh blood splattered everywhere. Damn it, damn it. Flame Demon Old Ancestor hollered in rage. He used the undying body to recover, but his face was slightly ashen white. Please take out your true strength, otherwise I will end up like all of you. He knew that if this continued, the outcome would be catastrophic. Although they were working together, he could still see that they weren't fighting wholeheartedly. There were even some ulterior motives. For example, if one of them died, when that happened, it would be really beneficial for them. Lin Fan raised his hand, and the ground shook. The Dao patterns were like a flood that surged forwards and pressed down. To Flame Demon Old Ancestor, this was a life-threatening thing. He paid attention to the situation around. Father, Water Emperor, and the others were held up by several peak experts. Although they weren't at a disadvantage, the people from the four alliances started to sneak attack. If this went on, they would definitely be in danger. How despicable. And he gradually understood one thing. When the Imperial Dynasty existed, the four alliances working together was enough to topple it. But why were they restricted by the Imperial Dynasty? No matter what, they didn't have the heart to work together. No one wanted to be the first to stand out. Even if Flame Demon Old Ancestor was about to be suppressed by him, there were still people who were slacking off and purposely used their killing moves. Flame Demon Old Ancestor was in danger and could be suppressed at any moment. What a pitiful bunch of people. If it didn't wipe him out, who else could? They were even worse than the Alliance. Just at that moment, Fanner, move aside. A furious roar spread into his ears. Lin Fan knew that it was his father's voice. He didn't even look and went up against a few experts. He tore open the dimension and stepped in, appearing where he was. Pucci, Flame Demon Old Ancestor's body was pierced by his father's halberd. The halberd gave off a destructive aura and continued to destroy Flame Demon Old Ancestor's body. You bunch of jerks. Even if I die, I won't let you off. Flame Demon Old Ancestor hollered in rage. He knew that he had been conned. The power in his body swelled, and he wanted to self-destruct to drag everyone down with him. How could Lin Wani let Flame Demon Old Ancestor self-destruct? He suppressed him and wiped out the power in his body. There was a loud explosion. Even if Flame Demon Old Ancestor was Dao Realm Stage 7 and had an undying body, he was instantly turned to dust. Amazing, Lin Fan exclaimed. Father was really overbearing. He was good at sneak attacks and could kill someone at Stage 7 just like that. If he wanted to kill a Dao Realm Stage 7 expert, he would have to spend a lot of effort. He definitely wouldn't have been able to do it so easily. All of you so-called sect leaders, I despise your actions. Even at such a time, you're still thinking about conning people. If all of you can become successful, I will walk upside down. Lin Wani said coldly. His body was covered in injuries from the battle with the Horned Dragon. Even if he couldn't fight so many experts, he could still sneak attack and kill one of them. Instantly, a terrifying power struck him. Many peak experts attacked at the same time, and it was obvious that they wanted to kill his father. Lin Fan roared and instantly appeared in front of his father. He punched out fiercely. However, under the combined strength of several peak experts, his strength was slightly inferior. Fan don't panic. I am here. Lin Wani slashed with the halberd and Dao patterns roared. They merged with Lin Fan's strength and turned into a shocking current that struck forwards. How long? The area shook. Dragon Island was already in pieces, and the ocean surged back, swallowing everything here. Father, when father and son work together, we are invincible, Lin Fan said. Not only are we invincible, we will make them piss their pants and cry for their parents, Lin Wani said. As for the top sect experts, their expressions were really ugly. In their words, as long as they worked together, the father and son would definitely die. But they would have to pay a price, and the price would be that someone would die with them. But who really wanted to die? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.